Well, hello everybody. How you all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Looking after yourself. Welcome to Friday Night Live Part 2. And hopefully there'll be some of you joining me shortly, and you'd like to join me in a live stream. Link is up. Anybody wants to come along and join me while I sit here and talk rubbish and waffle away to myself? Is there anybody out there? Here he is. Wants to come along and join me? Hello, Paul.
Doesn't look like I've moved, does it? Actually, no, I haven't.
No, you haven't. No.
No.
Even the cat hasn't. So
The cat. I've glued the cat to the back of the couch.
So what you done? Your carbs on your bike?
Well, there's a few problems. I basically bought the bike cheap, literally cheap. I couldn't afford the CBF 1000 from Eclipse in the end. My finances wouldn't take it because I lost 3 high-paying clients, and it was just, well, the whole fucking world fell out the bottom. So I sold the old Sinus Terrain and got a couple of £100, and I found on the Facebook Marketplace a few bikes that I was looking at. One was a Suzuki GSXF 750, which is nice. I like that. That was my first choice, but it was quite far away. I think it was up Yorkshire way. And then I saw this literally down the road, and I thought, okay, this is St Neots. I live in Abbottsley, which is just down the road from there. So I went to have a look at this bike, expecting it to be a bit of a shed. But bodywork-wise, condition-wise, it was absolutely perfect. He said to me, I'm selling it cheap because it needs some work on the carbs. So I bought it. I rode it for a little while. It did break down on me a couple of times, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to bite the bullet. So I've basically stripped it all down, and I found a few little things there that need doing. Yeah, the float bowls were knackered. The guy that had it before me has put the wrong fuel pipe on. The vacuum pump, the vacuum hose is the wrong gauge. There's little bits missing. So it looks like someone's hurriedly put it back together again after doing some work, and they've just not done it properly. And I'm just doing it properly. I'm going by the manual, getting some help off a friend of mine that knows all about Triumphs. So hopefully by Monday I should get it back up and running properly, give it a test run on Monday. So all should be well, because it just keeps cutting out when it gets hot.
Yeah.
So all going well.
Funnily enough, there's a guy lives a few doors down the road from me. He's got a Triumph 1200. He's had it for quite a few years, and quite often chat to him about bikes. And he just recently had a problem with his carbs on his, and he had them cleaned and jetted and sorted. And it turned out there was one of the lines was leaking or something.
Yeah, there's a problem with those.
Curious George, or Curious Goose, sorry, if you want to jump on the stream, feel free, mate.
Curious
Come in and say hello.
All right, mate.
Lisa Lee. Yeah, we're all good this way, Lisa. Thank you. And yeah, all prayers for you, mate. You hope you get sorted. I know you're not well. Curious George. Curious Goose. But yeah, so he had problems with his 1200 Triumph. He's had it quite a long time though. He keeps coming up and looking at my bike and saying how comfy is it. And the last time they was out, because I used to have a Versys 1000, he was looking at a Versys 1000 for him and his missus.
Good old bike, yeah.
That's I used to have one, and that was great for touring and everything on it. It was nice. I had the GT version, so it had all the luggage with it.
Solid old bikes. I mean, I've got a lot of catching up and making up of time to do with bikes. I think next year I'm looking at a ZZR 1200, or I'm looking at something like I don't know. I quite like the GTR 1400, but I'm not sure I want the expense that goes with it. They're not a cheap bike to maintain.
No. Well, the GTR 1400?
No, they're not. I mean, look at the aggro that Rev Bomb had with his spark plugs. I mean,
I'll tell you, I'm gonna do a video on it. I'm gonna do a 3-year review on my ownership of the bike, because this month I've had it 3 years, and in that 3 years I have done 55,000 miles, and I've done 48,000 of those myself. I only bought it with 7,000 miles on it.
All right.
And apart from spark plugs, which are a pain in the arse to do, yes, they are. I've only ever put tyres on it and changed oil. That's all I've had to do with it.
And you changed your brakes as well a little while ago, didn't
Well,
you?
brake pads, yeah.
Pads, yeah.
But wear and tear items like brake pads and oil, change those tyres, change those. But yeah, I've had to spend very little money on anything else for it. I am fortunate. I've got a very friendly mechanic who's a Kawasaki mechanic. He's a one-man band, and I went down and I did the spark plugs with him, and I helped him do it. So I was stripping down one side of the bike, he was doing the other, and it took us just over 2 hours. And that's all the labour he charged me because I was helping him, and 80 quid for the iridium plugs. So, but I let him change the plugs because I weren't putting my hand in there with all those wires and things that are hanging around everything. And because he said, if
Yeah.
you pull the wrong thing, you'll disconnect things that we're going to have to take the whole bike apart for. I said, yeah, you do that then.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that world of pain. It's funny, I mean, because I didn't have any qualms about ripping the 125 apart. It was just easy. I could literally have it literally in pieces on my driveway
Yeah.
and have it back together again by tea time, and it didn't phase me at all. But started getting the spanners and the posi drives out to the Triumph was an entirely different prospect. And I was looking
Hmm.
at YouTube videos, I was looking at manuals and stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna have to just grab the bull by the horns and just get on with it and find out what the problem is. And thankfully, two of the problems that could have caused the problem, I found a kinked
Yeah.
pipe. The kinked pipe for the fuel line made sense that it was that, but that's been one of the main problems because obviously when a pipe gets warm, it gets softer, and then the
Yeah.
kink is more pronounced. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking that was that was the problem with the fuel starvation issue. So it's got to be. It's got to be that. So
More than likely. More than likely. It's an old Triumph as well. It's an old bike. So,
it's 1997. It's got I put 1,000 miles on the thing in between, sort of messing around with it. So it's got 40,000 miles exactly on the clock now.
wow.
So yeah, I aim to keep it for another year, and I'll get rid. And I'm hoping to get what I paid for it, which it's not a classic bike. It's not classified as a classic bike yet, but it's an emerging, what you'd call an emerging classic, maybe. There
Yeah.
seems to be a big following for it. I'm on a Facebook group, and the only problem is, and I think all of you will find out, if you ever go on a Facebook group for your particular bike,
Yeah.
there'll be two classes of people. There will be the helpful ones, and then there will be the ones that go, "Oh, how can you not know how to do that?" You know, if you've got that kind of attitude, you just might as well just stay quiet and just let people bumble on. That's the problem. But yeah, the taking the part Exeter riders hit the nail on the head there. Taking the bike apart in some ways is stressful because you're thinking in your mind, okay, you got to remember where that bit goes. There are some screws you take off on panels, and especially on the block, where some will be different lengths. So if you haven't done a little cardboard cutout and put the screws into where it relates to that cardboard cutout, because I've got a shit memory, so I've got to do things like that. Otherwise, when it comes time to putting it back together again, and you're trying to put a screw in and it's not going all the way in, and you're wondering why, and you're rounding off threads, that's because you picked up the wrong screw. You've got the long
Yeah.
one where the short one goes. So
I
that
always find, yeah, I always find what's really helpful when you're taking stuff apart is having a mobile phone nearby. Take
yeah,
a picture of it together.
yeah, this is it. But you don't always think of that though, because you're sort of fighting against time. And we can thankfully now we got lighter evenings, so you're not fighting against the clock so much. So you've got a bit of time to spend on sorting your shit out. But yeah, taking pictures as you go is a definite good idea.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Well, that's what I do. And as for taking panels apart, I'm making sure you get the right bit in the right place or the right screws with it.
Yeah,
When if I've got more than one panel to take apart, which on the GTR you usually have, I usually put the bolts where they came from back in the holes of the panel once I've taken it off, then put
yeah,
that panel to one side.
that's a good idea. Yeah,
That's something like it's all right if you've got the room to lay it out and you're not going to be leaving it there for a long time because things get knocked and then bolts roll off and disappear and everything.
yeah, and that's the
But
other plus. When you have the naked bike, someone mentioned about sort of working on naked bikes. Yeah, working on naked bikes is much easier. And one case in point there is the changing of the light bulb. I don't know if you've ever had to change the light bulbs on your GTR yet, but
Yeah.
changing a light, I've got 2 light bulbs on mine, and I never knew that was going to be a 4-hour job, because you have to take the fairings off, you have to take the front bit skirt off, the bit underneath, and then you're wrestling around with the assembly, and then you're putting it all back together again, and then wondering why when you turn the key you've got no display. It's because when you've taken off the panel, one of the little plugs has come off for the instrument display, and that's another like 2 hours. So
I had the
that was
Kawasaki Versys. I had was the Mark one, which was the headlights over and under,
yeah, I know.
one up, one down. To change the headlight bulb on that was a 2.5-hour job.
It's stupid,
It
isn't it?
was literally screen off, panels off, into the
Oh,
point of
yeah.
actually taking the headlight off so you
Yeah,
could do it, and then bolting the headlight back on and putting it all back there. I got quite efficient at it in the end.
yeah.
But with the GTR, there is enough room if you're confident enough to work blind to do the headlights without taking anything off, just sticking your hand down and doing them.
Yeah, you got to have hands like a gynecologist, though. And good luck
That
with that.
shape, that
Yeah,
shape.
yeah, yeah. Good luck with that one.
Yeah,
I
but I can actually do it, and I've done a BMW K1200 touring thing, and I've changed the headlight bulbs in that without taking all the fairings off, because the bloke was convinced you had to take the fairings off. I said, you know what, I'll get my hand in there if
usually
you'll
you
trust
do.
me.
Usually you do with things like that, because yeah, it's like the same. We use the BMW RT1250s,
Mm,
and they just have to be defected and go off to the workshop for anything that goes on those. You can't do anything yourself on those. You're not allowed. But
yeah,
I've seen the guy work on them, and he literally can strip it down within about 15 minutes. This thing,
yeah.
he's just done it so many times. He can do it blindfolded. He's amazing in the workshop, but he is good. And the other problem is with LED lights. Sometimes if you've got a modern bike and you've put LED lights on, it can throw up certain problems as well. They don't actually like other makes of LEDs, do they?
No, sometimes it can throw up problems with the ECU and things like
Yeah,
that, and
unless they're the
it,
factory LEDs.
mm, yeah, that's it.
Yes,
Or it's a proper LED kit with the proper resistors and everything else on it, and
with the resistors, exactly, exactly. So, what's the agenda then for the weekend? I didn't actually hear what you were doing over the
no,
weekend.
because Red Bomb didn't ask me.
He didn't actually. No, you're right. He didn't. I'm just.
He didn't ask me. He
Yeah.
glossed over me. I'm not important because I'm going to be running my own live stream in a minute. So if I want, I can tell everybody then.
So what you doing
Um,
then?
right, I am getting the house ready, so I'm going to try and cut grasses and bushes and things
All right.
tomorrow if I can. If not, that'll be Sunday. And giving my bike a wash and a go over, because on Monday I'm heading down to Cornwall.
Oh, is that Cornwall is on Monday? Is it?
Yes, I'm heading down on Monday. I'm glad he's in the room, Exeter, because I'm hoping to meet up with him on the way.
I wanna go down there soon and meet up with Exeter, because my uncle lives down that part of the country, and I was gonna sort of pop in on Exeter and say hello for a coffee.
Yeah.
If he's up for that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be. We're just going to meet up for a quick coffee on the way down. I did say I'd meet up with Howie 702 as well, but he's not got back to me yet. So
That is how he lives
um,
then.
he lives down Cornwall way, wherever
Oh,
it is.
does he?
Yeah,
Oh, bless him. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
There you go.
I like Howie. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll meet up. We'll have a. It won't be Starbucks though. I don't believe in paying £6 for a coffee though, Exeter. So if there's a nice local coffee house, that I like the idea of dealing with local trade. I think Costa get too much of my money lately. Nice,
Howie
nice
Somerset. There
local
you go. There, Howie Somerset. Thank you, Exeter. Yeah.
Somerset, is he? Yeah, my uncle is in a place called Farrington Gurney, which is near Midsummer Norton. So that's not too far from you, Howie. So I could probably pop in on you as well, mate. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. Although you will feature, I will have to say, you're going to feature on my YouTube channel. I will be doing a Mad Old Biker Meets section.
Yeah. Yeah.
Curious Goose, yes, Plymouth. I'm going to come up to Plymouth and do a little bit of a thing.
Is it Plymouth? They have the bike meet every Tuesday down at the quayside. I'm not sure. Is it Plymouth or is that Portsmouth?
I think that's Portsmouth, Port Solent, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what Plymouth has. I'm sure they have bike meets. It's a big old
Because
place.
in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be in Bournemouth for a week, and I'm going to need something to do in the evening. So I was planning on popping up there on that night and seeing what was what. Maybe doing a little video for that. So
I've been to Bournemouth for years. Bournemouth is a lovely place.
a shithole.
Oh,
Sorry, anybody that lives in Bournemouth, but I don't.
Bournemouth.
I think it's just a dump.
Bournemouth, and I went across to, was it Lyme Regis after that?
Yeah.
In the car, and I thought it was quite nice, but that was 20 years ago. What it's like
Yeah. Bournemouth is one of these towns I think that is slowly dying because all the big shops they had there, like the Deadmans and what have you, they've all closed now and gone. And it's like most seaside towns. It was all full of homeless people, and you can't walk down the road without we go somebody asking you for money and that, which is pretty much any big town now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. A lot of dying towns now, Dunstable being one of them. I know you go into Dunstable every Wednesday for your bike meet, but that
Well, it's just outside Dunstable. We stop at Chalk Hill, so you're always welcome to come along. They do a nice latte.
I will come along there actually. Probably week after next will probably be the time I come down there. But I feel sorry for Dunstable. I used to live in Dunstable. I mean, I lived there, moved there in 2001, moved up from London. And I literally watched the Dunstable just go downhill, and it's a really sad thing to see. And I was really quite sad about that. But hopefully, the regeneration program will sort of bring it back up. Yes, Western Supermare. That's actually quite a famous bike meet that goes on the Western Supermare.
Mm-hmm.
That's been featured quite a lot on. I can't remember the YouTuber now that actually has channel there. I've not got it on my list. I've got so many to go through. When you think about how many people we all follow, it's difficult to find the time to sort of give everyone the time they deserve. It's getting to the point now where you have to sort of set aside about 2 hours in a day to sort of go through some of these, and it's good to do that because other people have given me so many ideas of things I can do, and there's always things I look at and think that's a good idea. I'd like the idea of doing that.
Yeah.
So many original ideas. It's just good to be able to keep up with what people are doing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I was talking to somebody in work who follows me, Les. If you're watching, hello, mate. And he said about ideas for videos, and he just started talking about everything on the bike that I could do a video on. And I thought, yeah, that's great. And you know what? I've forgotten everything he said.
Well, this is the problem. I mean, there's so much, but I think the trick is to find your niche. And I think people like Exeter Rider, you're lucky to be living in such a beautiful part of the country where there are lots of lovely things to see. You're lucky enough to be able to be integrated into the dealership network where you can do some bike reviews, because I think it's something I would like to do. I'd like to be able to just jump on a bike, borrow a bike for a day and take it out for a spin and tell people what I think of it from the perspective. I think my niche will be from a new rider.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people out there like Lamb Chop Rides. You have like the Missenden Flyer. Even now, Bruce Teapot One. He's become quite sort of well known and integrated into the world of reviewing, and I think that's good. But you need to sometimes sort of take a different slice of it and look at it from a point of view of different people. And I like, there's a guy called Mark Pulling. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. He does some reviews. He's a nice guy. And he actually sort of sits on the bike and shows you from his perspective what it's like when you're on the bike. Do your feet actually bloody touch the ground, and what's it like from different perspectives. So he's quite good at that.
Yeah. Empty Tank, evening.
Good evening, mate. You right?
Yeah, not bad.
Anthony, a bit old, mate.
Yeah, it's complicated. I don't have my camera on. I'm not really feeling very media friendly today, so it's left it off.
Not feeling photogenic tonight.
No, not at all.
Bless you. Are you still at your mate's garage, or are you gone home now?
No, I went home, mate. Yeah, the only reason I was at my mate's garage, so I left the gym and my daughter got blue lighted to hospital, and I can't be at hospital. You can only have one guardian due to COVID regulations.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, just kind of keep myself distracted, and come on,
You're right.
Fuck it, I'll jump on YouTube.
I hope she's going to be all right, mate.
Oh yeah, I'm just staying distracted, man. I'm good.
Good.
It's one of the things, isn't it? It's life. She's currently sat on a drip, so see how that goes in the morning.
I hope she'll be okay, mate. Yeah,
it's just life, isn't it?
Well, I've been through it myself. I mean, my eldest son, Harry, he's asthmatic and he's been in that hospital quite a bit. So I know how you feel as a parent. It's quite frustrating, but at least it wasn't COVID times when it was restricted. Both parents could be there, and that's it's just what you got to do, what you got to get on with. We're not going to get back to any kind of normal anytime soon. So
no, I can't imagine we will.
Thank you, Ram. I know what you say when you say about being distracted. I for personal reasons, I do know what you mean, and which is why I'm trying to keep myself distracted this weekend because it's a tough.
This is one of the things. There's nothing else you can do, and I think if you don't keep yourself distracted, that's kind of when emotions start to hit home and start to flow. And no one likes emotions, so you can't just kind of keep your shit together and distract yourself with other things.
Yeah, it is. It is one of those things you've got to do. I think what pisses me off the most is I've now got to that point now. If I go like 2 or 3 days without being on a motorbike, I actually start getting anxious now.
Therapy, isn't it?
It is, because it enables you to just empty your mind. When you're on a bike, you can't think of anything else.
The only time I wouldn't advise getting on a bike is when you're angry, because you can be 150 miles away before you realise what you're doing. But yeah,
I totally agree, and I've not been in that position yet. But yeah, I totally get you there. I mean, I've been in a car when I've been angry. You know, when you're having an argument with someone and you don't even know what speed you're doing. You don't even know what's going on, and before you know it, you've ended up like 100 miles away, thinking, "Why am I here?
Where am I?" Yeah, the sudden realisation hits you, and you go, "Right, I'll go home now." Then, oh dear, I'm that far. I need fuel.
And by the way, you're dumped. When we get you back, we're dumped. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's right. I mean, I think when you ride, you put so much mental effort into riding that you tend to forget a lot of other things, which is why they call it wind therapy, if you like. It's because you put everything else behind you because you're in that moment. And unlike driving a car, you're riding a bike. You're feeling the road, you're feeling the weather, you're feeling the wind. You're getting all the feedback. When you're driving the car, you're just a passenger. Even if you're driving it, you're just a passenger, aren't you? Everything's comfort and taken away from you. And everything's electric, and it does it all for you.
I don't know how long you've been riding, Simon. I'd imagine quite a few years, and it's probably the same with you, Brandon. But I only have one regret in life, and that is not getting on 2 wheels earlier. I'm really pissed about that, and I've got a lot of time to make up. That's my problem.
Nah, you've got plenty of time left in your lifespan. I'm sure you'll make up for it eventually. And I don't think it's about making up at all. It's about the experience. We can regret everything in life, but as long as you like, I don't think anyone should regret anything. In fact, I think things just happen for a reason, sort of thing. I don't want to start sounding all like, oh, but it's true.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's a good approach to have, a good attitude, because I'm wondering if I had got on a bike any earlier. You know, when I was in my younger years, I was a bit of a tearaway. I was a bit of a good boy, not like I am now. I'm a good boy now, but I reckon in my 20s and 30s, if I'd have been on a motorbike, would I be here talking to you fine gentlemen today? Probably not. I was a total twat.
Yeah, a bit like me now, really.
We've all been there, done that. We've all been there and done it.
The thing is, you realise you know your limitations. I mean, yeah, you're on a bloody big bike. I mean, an MT10, that is one scary machine. Would I trust myself on one of those? No, I'm not sure. I'd be around too long if I had an MT10. And my mate Phil's going to be buying an MT10 when he comes back from Dubai in June. And I'll tell you what, I know it's a lovely bike. You know, if you're ever up the Super Sausage when I'm there, I'll have a good old look around yours, but from what I've seen of them, they are scary machines.
They're awesome bikes, man. I think the scary is just words in it. I think it's just one of those things where it's as scary as you make it.
Yeah. My worry is the temptation, because it is a bike meant to be ridden hard, and the temptation there to sort of pin it. I mean, okay, yeah, I'm on a Triumph 1200, but that's not a bike you can be a hooligan on. You look at someone on a Triumph Trophy trying to be a hooligan, you look at him and think, what a twat.
Yeah.
It's a gentle cruising old git bike like what I am. So you can't hoolie around on a Triumph. It's just not done. You look an idiot.
But I mean, most bikes they are what they are. If you want to ride them hard and fast, you ride them hard and fast, and most of them will take it. You want to ride them like Exit says there, take it easy. Most motorbikes are like puppy dogs, but I think it's when you're younger, you haven't got that. I don't want to say fear, but I want to say it's that consequence feeling you've got. Like I can ride my bike very, very fast. It's capable of 190 odd mile an hour or whatever it is, and it will go like stink.
It does.
But will I do that? No. You know, I very rarely hit 3 figures on private road. Just because I know I've seen the aftermath of what you look like when you come off at that speed.
Yes, I've done my fair share of scraping up people off the roads, off motorbikes, and do you know what? Statistically, we don't like to admit this, but statistically, they are unfortunately the fault of the rider. There are a lot of idiot drivers out there that don't look out for bikes. We all know that, but
I know of several accidents where everybody immediately blamed the rider for going too fast, and then later on it was proved that the rider was actually riding within the speed limit. It was the car driver at fault.
Yeah, that is the case. That is the case a lot of the time. But when you have to call off chases because they're riding so erratically, and then you have to sort of get the helicopter up, and that's when you know shit's going to hit the fan, because you ain't going to get away from a helicopter. And you're watching the footage.
What's the helicopter speed? Top speed 160, and I can do 190. I'll get away from him eventually.
But he covers more ground than you, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's the problem that you've got. I don't think we've ever had anyone get away from a helicopter yet, so far. Touch wood, but the time maybe one day will come, but I'm not sure. And yeah, Crumbly Mal, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can be on a 125. Yeah. I mean, a 125 can get up to sort of near enough motorway speed. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what bike you're on.
I always said to people about wearing the gear.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it is, and I say you look at everybody looks at like the motocross and the MotoGP and things like that, and when they come off the bike, I said you watch how far they slide, and they're sliding for 200, 300 yards. And they're sliding quite gracefully along the road, and the lever's all rated to blast. And I said, that's fine. They get up and walk away. You come off at 40 mile an hour on one of the public roads, you are probably not going to walk away. And they said, why is that? I said, because you're going to hit what we call as road furniture.
Isn't there a saying? I think I heard it said, dress for the slide, not the ride. Is that
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I think I heard someone say that. Yeah.
So you wear the gear to try and protect you the best you can, but unfortunately, if you come off on a public road, you're going to hit a lamppost, a curb, a car. Hopefully not an oncoming car, but you know you're going to hit these things. So you might as well give yourself the best chance you can.
Well, you wear textiles, don't you, Simon?
Yeah.
What is the thing then? Because I've not got the experience to answer the question. So you two guys are going to be the ones that
leather gear will give you better protection while sliding. Although textiles gives you a lot of good protection because they're Kevlar lined and they are Kevlar stitched into places to try and hold them all together.
Right.
Which is what it needs to do. So leather is slightly better for that, although textile clothing is has improved vastly over the years to a point where
Mhm.
it's almost at the same level.
Mhm.
The reason I wear textile clothing is because I'm an all year round biker.
Mm.
In the winter it's warmer, and in the
Mm.
summer it's cooler.
What, leather is cooler in the summer?
No, textiles are
Oh, right,
cooler in the summer.
textiles.
'Cause I've got there's not many, although they started doing it now, not so much, but a lot of motorcycle leather gear hasn't got as many vents in it as my textile gear.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've got two sets of textiles. I've got Ixon, which isn't a particularly well-known mate, but it's quite good, and RST. The RST is a shorter jacket, but they've all got plenty of vents on it. But they've also got the liner inside. I took the liner out of the other one. It's a real pig to get in and out. The old liners for the things, aren't they? They've got buttons in the sleeves, and you're messing around putting it back on because our weather changed dramatically. We had a little nice bit of weather, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And then the temperature dropped, and I'm thinking, shit, I've got to put the liner back in. Jesus,
Well,
it
you
took me
see,
an hour.
experienced rider, what I did is I opened all the vents on my jacket. I didn't bother taking the liner out, so it kept me cool.
There you go. This is where I made the mistake. I looked out the window and thought, oh wow, okay, that's nice and sunny. What is it? It was like 17 degrees. I thought, oh, off the liner comes, idiot, and I took it off, and yeah,
Yeah,
stupid.
Crumbly just said it. Some textile stuff is as strong as, if not stronger than, wearing leather gear. So
Yeah, no one's ever really done a proper review of any of the sort of the gear. I've yet to see anyone do a decent review of what's good and what isn't. I know plenty of people have done. People like Spicy 110. He's done a lot of stuff on boots and gloves and stuff like that. But
because he's sponsored by them, or they send out a brand. That's why YouTubers do it.
yeah, I think that again, that's the other problem, isn't it, Brandon? The fact that some of these people lose the loyalty to what they did the channel for in the first place because they start
Absolutely.
getting paid and sponsored, and then they lose the focus, and then I unsub those types of people after a while because it becomes a bit like Fort9. Have you ever heard of Ryan Fort9?
no,
No.
He's an American guy. And initially, when he started out, he was good, but now it's become so commercial. It's become boring. He's lost the point of what it was he was set out to achieve, I'm guessing, but I think that's the problem after a while.
yeah, I think you're probably right. Actually, there are some YouTubers that have got tens of thousands of followers that I've stopped following because they've become just that for a reason. They don't actually need my support anymore anyway, and their content is getting very, very boring. And there are others that have got tens of thousands of followers that their content's still really interesting,
because
and
they
those I
stay
will
true,
continue to watch.
because they stay true to what it was that they set out
Yeah,
to do.
haven't sold out basically. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that I'll carry on watching because I think how many am I sub to at the moment? I think 109 people that I'm following on YouTube just for motor vlogging alone. And that's just a ridiculous amount. It's difficult to sort of keep up. There's probably 20 core people that I will regularly I will look at. But
I mean, I'd rather watch stuff that you and Empty Tank, although the last one Empty Tank put up, I was a bit concerned about because it had a naked man dancing on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I just want to be different, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that was different. Trust me.
Well, that's the way to be. At the end of the day, that's what people like. They want someone a bit off the wall, someone that's not afraid to say it as it is. And just have a bit of honest chat. Exactly. Yeah. Fort9. He has become a bit of a what's the word? A corporate mechanism. That's the problem. That's the problem. I did treat myself to something the other day, not just the puncture repair kit, but I saw on special offer the other day, and I had to buy it because I'm a bit of a DC fan. Can you see this?
Oh, Iron Man helmet.
No, I wanted the Iron Man helmet.
All right.
And that's gone out of production, but HJC, they were the ones that did the Iron Man helmet, and it's gone out of production now. I'm guessing because it was so popular. But this is the Flash.
Oh, right. Okay.
Can you see that?
Oh, yes. I can see it's the Flash now.
Nice, isn't it? Haven't had a chance to use it yet, obviously, because the bike's in bits. But I did promise myself that I would use this when I get the bike back, just to see what it's like. It's a very different fit. I'm kind of hoping, because the one that I normally use is a Scorpion Evo, and the Scorpion Evo has a lot more on the back, and the wind noise it creates is tremendous, because when I'm doing more than sort of 50, I'm kind of thinking I'm actually shouting into this microphone now. So I'm hoping the wind noise on this will be a little less, because the vents.
Exeter, I think you missed three zeros off the end of that one.
What's that?
He's on 15. They're talking about subscribers, I think.
How many has Exeter got?
He says he's on 15. I think he's 15,000.
I don't know how many you've got actually, Exeter. I haven't looked. Everyone's sub count seems to be sort of jumping quite a bit over the last sort of couple of years because of COVID. I think everyone has been enjoying a little bit more of a extra bit of subbing, because let's face it, everyone's had bugger all to do.
Yeah, Curious Goose is on 365, and he lost his race with Rhythmic, unfortunately. That was.
Oh yeah, that was quite good actually. Yeah, I was looking at the little competition that they had.
Yeah, I remember Exeter's live stream with everybody in a lumberjack shirt. That was rather hilarious. And
yeah. It's because of people like Curious Goose and Exeter that I actually went for the Sinis Terrain, because they did a brilliant thing review. Because I think Curious Goose, did you not have the pre-production Sinis Terrain, the T380 version as well? And there were some differences between the production model and the one that you had, I think, if I remember rightly. It's going back a little way now, but I looked at that bike and I thought, that's the one for me. That was such a great bike, and I took that green laning, and it handled everything you threw at it. It was such a tough little bike. I bent it, broke it, smashed it to bits, ordered some bits for it and put it back together again. It was like a regular Steve Austin, this thing, and I loved it. And I actually do now regret getting rid of it. In fact, I think I will probably buy another one. It was such a good bike. It really was. I mean, everyone slags off the Chinese bikes, and I think that's due to the fact that years ago, yeah, they were a little bit badly put together, but I didn't have a complaint at all about that Sinis Terrain. And I know RevBomb plugs the Lex Motos a lot. I've only ever ridden one Lex Moto, and that was the LXR.
Well, I remember when the Lex Motos came out, and our riding school got a load of them, and they all just broke. They were like cheap bits, and everything broke on them. It didn't take very long for everything to break very much.
I think that might have been the
so I had and I still have the opinion that if you want something to last, buy something reputable. But I understand Lex Motors are coming on now, but
they are. Sinis have got a nice little bike that's come out, the GPX. I think username Kate did a review on the GPX, and it's a fair little machine, actually, to be fair, and it stays as good as how you keep it. I'm thinking with the top 5 brands, the Jap brands, yeah, you can leave them outside a little bit as long as you look after them, but with the cheaper bikes, you're not going to get away with that. You can't keep them outside. They got to be either garaged or covered up. It's amazing how many people don't cover up their bikes.
Yeah.
I'm building a shed for mine at the moment.
Mine lives in a lean-to, so that I built. So.
Yeah, as long as you keep it ACF 50'd up and greased up and stuff like that, you know, any bike should last. It's how
unfortunately,
you keep it.
riding it all year round, as I do, I have got the odd little bit of corrosion seeping through here and there, but
that's all the salt, isn't it? Salt is the biggest killer of any bike.
It's gonna happen. And although this year I got for Christmas a Christmas present that I'm still to do a video review on, which was a battery operated jet wash from Ryobi.
Oh, right,
Because for me to get the hose out and everything else, I've got to drag it all through the house and everything else out to the front because I still haven't put a tap out the front. It's just too fucking awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I got that this year, which meant I could clean it a bit more often. Now the Ryobi isn't as strong as a normal power jet wash, but it does the job, you know. So wish I'd had that 2 years ago when I first got the bike. I would used it a lot more often.
Yeah, it's the thing though, isn't it? Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
It's great, isn't it? It's great.
I wish I had some.
Yes.
L plays. You're thinking of Paul from Riding from Reality.
Yeah. You ain't seen the state of my one. It is old and tired, curious, and it's only on a 15 plate. But yeah, she's showing signs of age now. But
yeah, I think you're both showing signs of age, aren't you? That's not rocket science.
I'm showing signs of age.
It's like being at a retirement home.
That's all right, because our intention is to completely screw the world up and then leave it to people like you, MT. So.
It's already screwed up.
Well, down to you, young. How old are you?
We can make it worse. Watch us.
25.
Excellent. I wish I was 25. I'll tell you what, if I was 25, knowing what I know now, I'd be lethal. I'd love to be 25 again.
Madness.
Yeah. Good night, MT. Take it easy, buddy.
Night, MT. Be safe.
Be well.
Be well. Exactly.
No,
so what's everyone talking about in the side chat?
Saying goodbye to MT at the minute.
All right. Let them off.
Exeter just mentioned a little while ago about the combined braking. The terrain off-road ruined it.
Oh, Crumbly Mail, what make is it? HJC. That's the make of the helmet.
Yeah.
I think Helmet City, they're doing a sale at the moment on some of their crash hats, because the next crash hat I want is a modular one.
Me and you are going to fall out, sunshine. It's not a hat.
It is. It's a crash hat. I call it a crash hat. Why? What do you call it?
It's a safety hat.
Not a fucking sun hat. That's for sure.
It's a fucking crash hat.
It's a hat if you don't do it up.
It is a hat if you don't do it up. You're right.
I'll tell you what.
Shit out of that.
I'll tell you what. The one thing I did notice on this, it's got the D rings, and the other one I've got, the Scorpion, has got the sliding clip. Now, I never really liked the D rings before, but I've got to say, I actually think they're safer.
Maybe they never liked you.
No, probably not. Do I care? Nah.
No.
What are we saying? We like our D ring.
A D ring.
I'll do anything.
I don't give a shit. But the only thing is, you can't do the bastard up when you got gloves on.
Yeah, I've never had D rings. I've always had the like fastener one sort of thing.
Ratchet.
Yeah, that's what I got on the other one. A lot of you can do them up when you got your gloves on, because I'm really stupid. I have to put things on in a certain order because I'm just an old fart. I've just got to put my 44 teeth stickers on. I like
agree,
Does anyone sub to 44 teeth? Did you watch
No.
Ali Fagan?
So here's one for you. I used to watch Baron von Grumble when he only had like 300-400 subscribers.
Yeah, then he turned into a twat.
Yeah.
Big styly.
That's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, it was funny. I did used to like his little goings on commuting into the city. I mean,
yeah, into London all the time. Yeah,
I've ridden through the city of London once, and that's the only time I'll ever do it. I'll never do it again. I think London's a shithole. I hate it.
I've got a little story about London. I'm going to do a little video on, and I'm not happy with Barnet fucking council robbing bastards.
Barnet, why? Oh, what? Because their bus lanes aren't flagged properly for motorcyclists. Is that the bit?
Yeah.
You know?
And I've got £130 fine. Yeah.
I know exactly where you mean, mate.
Fucking wankers.
unilaterally in the UK, what they really need to do is just say all bus lanes, motorcyclists can use them all the time.
Yeah.
What harm would it do?
What makes me laugh is all the boroughs of London say you can use a bus lane, but Barnet have gone, hang on, we can make some money here. Let's fucking kick motorcyclists out of them.
Capitalist twats. I think that's really out of order. I mean, it's not going to do any harm, is it? Just to let the motorcyclists use the bus lanes. Makes sense, keeps the traffic moving.
I mean, it's really annoying because I do check signs before I enter the bus lane.
Have you noticed?
I came up through Swiss Cottage that way, heading out towards the motorway.
No, well.
And as I came through there was a lot of high-sided vehicles parked at the side of the road.
All right.
And I believe one of those, I've looked at the video and I can't see a fucking bus lane sign anywhere, but I looked at what I'm convinced it's where one of those high-sided vehicles was. It was hiding the fucking sign.
Probably.
So as I went down the road, I dipped into the bus lane, I shot down the bus lane, got to the lights and moved back over, and that's exactly where they caught me.
Yeah, they seem to have spent more money on the cameras and the technology to get you. I just wish they'd spend some money on fixing some of them frigging potholes.
Fuck yeah. But I wasn't impressed, and I did phone them up and give my protest, and they said, well, it's up to you. You can pay it now, or we can put it up by another 50 quid if you don't pay it.
Yeah.
I went, cheers. So that'd be 180 quid then.
They'll always win in the end, mate. Always win in the end.
Unfortunately, Crumbly, I have to go into London, so so I just won't be going through Barnet. I've got Barnet as a fucking exclusion zone on my sat-nav now.
Can you set places to avoid on the TomTom?
Oh, you can set road names to avoid, and I'll fucking avoid them. Fuck it.
Oh, really?
I ain't going that way. Because the next time I'll be down there, you're guaranteed it'll be a nice hot summer day, and I'll be sitting in that traffic sweating, and the bus lane will be empty.
There's a guy I follow on YouTube. It's Nat's Knacker's Yard, and he lives in an area in just outside Watford near Bushy. So he's kind of on the new area that's going to be the new ULEZ zone, because they're expanding this ULEZ zone, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you watch some of his rides from where he lives, and you think to yourself, why would you want to go through all that amount of traffic? It's just like busy all the time. I mean, with my bike, it's not that easy to filter. I mean, I know you can on yours. I don't know how you filter, how you do on yours. It mystifies me. I'd be leaving my boxes behind if I did filtering. But
it's dead easy. It's dead easy. You got to first of all, you got to remember you got the boxes on, because I have previously years ago hit cars with boxes because I forgot I had them on there.
That's my worry.
And what you got to remember is when you got your boxes on, it is no wider than your mirrors. So if your mirrors go through, your boxes will. But as you go through, don't immediately start turning. Make sure you've got the bike through before you start moving, because that's how I hit the boxes. So,
right, is that the rule for all motorbikes then? Your boxes are never going to be wider than your mirrors?
Unless you put aftermarket boxes on it, they tend not to make the boxes bigger than the mirrors. Yeah.
All right, okay, that's interesting, because it makes me feel like on mine, where my mirrors are, they actually don't seem that wide. And then when you actually kind of like look, when you're stood still and you look behind you, it feels like the boxes are the width of a frigging bus. It's just...
Take care, X. All the best, mate.
X is off.
See you next week.
All right, mate. Take it easy.
Yeah, Crumbly, it was a fucking expensive 100 yards, over a tenner a fucking, well, £1 a yard more than. So.
Yeah, I'm going to skedoodle as well, boys. I'm going to be up at 4, so.
All right, MT. Well, you take care, and hope your daughter's all right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fucking heart-wrenching, isn't it? I think when it comes to kids, it's just shit.
Yeah.
Especially when the doctors are like, yeah, we're not too sure what's wrong with her. It's kind of like, nice.
Doesn't bode well, does it?
No, and it's more difficult when you're not there as well. It's third-party information. I don't want third-party. I want direct from the source.
Yeah. I know how you feel, mate.
But I shall see you guys later. I'm going to try and become more active now on YouTube because obviously I was moving house and shit, so I couldn't do anything for 3 weeks. So I'll just catch up with you guys later, hopefully.
Yeah, you take care. All the love to the family, and hope little one's all right.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Bye, bye. Morals. We have people riding motorcycles made of 2x4s. You wouldn't get away with that in this country. Trust me, Els.
Oh, you see, because this is it, Hells. You don't have MOTs over in the States. So what happens then in America? I mean, you see people driving complete and utter sheds of cars. I can't speak about motorbikes because I've not seen, that much of a state. But what happens if you haven't got an MOT over there, which is only good for the day it was done, but there's no standards over there as such for the condition of the bike? What happens over there?
I do believe they've got to be safety inspected every year, aren't they? If you choose to get it done. I know it differs from state to state.
I don't know. I mean,
but,
you see some people putting together hodgepodge bikes and cars, and you think to yourself, that ain't safe.
That ain't right. Yeah.
I mean, over here, you can sort of get pulled over sort of quite quickly if something's not right. But
yeah, by your friends. Yeah.
By my friends. I'm not in traffic, so I don't do all that sort of shit.
There we go. Look.
If I'm knocking on your door, you're either a drug dealer or a murderer, so you're quite safe if you're on the road. Supposed to be inspected, right? But what? There's no kind of governing on forcing it to be done. I mean, because over there you have your registration plate, and that's linked to your
person,
insurance.
I believe, isn't it? Yeah.
So surely you could do the same thing with the vehicle standards on your plate because you have to renew your plate every year, don't you, over there?
It's natural selection.
Natural selection, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
We could do with some of that over here.
It's called karma, mate. Karma does come for you. Karma exists, I promise you.
Could do with some natural selection when it comes to people that keep stealing motorbikes and things. Yeah, as long as the plate's good and you're insured, you get away with it. So, yeah.
I suppose. I mean, again, you've got to have a copper that knows enough about motorbikes to be able to say whether or not it's legit. Because, yeah, over here you can go by the noise, and you might think, okay, you might not have the baffling, but I've never routinely stopped someone for having a loud bike. I just look at it and think it's just a loud bike.
The last time I got stopped was by a couple from Hertfordshire Police. I was on Breakspear Way in Hemel Hempstead.
I know that well.
I came down Maylands Avenue, and it's got the filter lane to the left to go along Breakspear Way.
Yeah.
I came round there because I'm on the filter lane. I didn't even look at the roundabout. I just took the filter lane and I opened it up. As I got to the top of the hill, before you get to the garage, I saw blue lights in my mirror. So I wound it down, slowed right down. And I was just sitting there thinking, hopefully he'll go past me. And no, he didn't. He pulled in straight behind me.
He was bored.
Right, okay. So I pulled into the bus stop that's just past the garage.
Yeah, hello.
I was very well behaved. I took my crash helmet off, turned the bike off, took my crash helmet off, took my gloves off and everything else, and then got off the bike before the officer got out of the car. And it was the driver that got out, which I thought was unusual because it's not normally the driver that gets out.
No, passenger. Yeah.
But because I was off the bike, they was probably assured I wasn't going to run away. And he walked up to me and I went, hello, mate. He went, hello there, sir. What the fucking hell's that? And he pointed at my number plate. I had a slightly illegal number plate on it. It had a watermark in it.
Oh.
And he said, like, what the fucking hell's that? And I went, oh, do you know what, mate? I'll take my bike to shows and that. And when I park it up, I put that number plate on because it's got a shark on it, it's got the Grim Reaper on it and everything else. And it's just a bit and I've completely forgotten to change it over. I've got the original one at home. I changed it over. He said, right, okay, that's the number plate done. So what was the speed all about then? And I went, I've got no answer. I said, I came off the roundabout, the road was empty, and I just opened it up in second gear. he went, right, so what's your name? So I told him my name. He went back to the car. He come back and he said, right, okay, get the number plate changed, keep your speed down, take it easy, off you go. And he let me go with a little verbal. That was very nice of him.
Bless him. Yeah, some of them are okay. If it had been a
he did say get me number plate changed, and I'll tell you what, 2 days later I went across that same bit of road and this police car came past me and the policeman sitting in the passenger seat went like this. I changed my fucking number plate.
I've just seen in there, I don't know you, Ali. I'm sorry. I've not had the pleasure of meeting you if you've been at the Super Sausage, but
Oh mate.
Mod 1, foot down, yeah. Struggle with moving the bike from one bay to the other in the practice. What bike were you using in Mod 1? I mean, it's usually a Suzuki V650S or something like that. But they're not light bikes.
No.
I found the Mod 1 quite difficult, if I'm honest. It was quite scary. You're the only one in the paddock, and the pressure's on you, and you think that everyone's looking at you that are waiting to take their test. You just got to forget all them, and you just got to get on it. But you'll do it next time, as Curious Goose has said. It's just another opportunity to get it right next time. Don't give up. Go for it again. I failed my Mod 2 the first time. I was in St Helens, just outside Merseyside, and it's just an area that I didn't know very well at all. And there were lots of these little mini roundabouts, the double mini roundabouts, and I fell foul of these mini roundabouts.
Yeah.
And I was just, apparently I didn't do a safety check. I thought I had, but I failed it. That was the last 5 minutes of the bloody test as well. That's what pissed me off. I just mucked up on that one, and that was, of course, he regarded as a serious fail.
Yeah.
But the
Roland,
Mod 1,
evening.
But the Mod 1, a lot of people say, and I quite agree with it to an extent, I think the Mod 1 technically is harder than the Mod 2. Purely and simply because of the element of the pressure that's on you. You're the only one in the paddock. And sometimes you've got your crash helmet on. You can't hear what the guy is saying. You know, he said to me, you know, if you feel it necessary to switch the bike off so you can hear what I'm saying, do that. So I did that. Don't know whether that's because I'm an old git or not. I don't know, but the bike was quite loud. Yeah. But I could have easily messed up on my Mod 1 because you have to go around the set of blue cones to go around the course in order to do the controlled stop. And apparently I missed the first time round. I missed a set of cones, and I got to the end of the controlled stop, and he said to me, "Are you happy with that?" And I thought, I better say no. I'll say no. No. Why? And he said, he helped me out. He said, well, I think you missed the cones. All right, can I do that again? So he let me do that again. But a lot of people dread the U-turn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bit where, you can't put a foot down at all on there, can you? You can't put the foot down on the U-turn. You can't put the foot down on the
slalom, slow ride, or figure of 8. No.
Yeah, so Ali, you just got to stick at it and get on that saddle and do it again. Is there someone that you can borrow a bigger bike to get used to handling?
You can use Hayden's.
Right. Maybe ask a friend. You know, if you can get some practice. There's lots of places where you can go where you can just get the feel of a bike in a car park or something that might help. That's what I did.
Absolutely.
I borrowed a bigger bike with the supervision of someone else, and it helps me.
I find with the slow manoeuvres like the slalom, the figure of 8, the U-turn, what helps an awful lot is with your balance is your body position. Yeah. Body positioning really helps an awful lot with that.
And looking where you want to go rather than looking in front of you. That's the big thing that I found difficulty in getting my head around is when you're doing the U-turn, look to where you want to be going rather than looking in front of you, because then that's when things mess up. look at lots of YouTube videos. There's lots of YouTube videos out there. One of the ones that helped me, and because of that, I ended up going up to Manchester to do mine, because there's a company called RJH Motorbike Training, and I got to know the guy, the owner there, Rob Howitt. He's a lovely guy, and he was instrumental in my success purely and simply because he puts out lots of videos, lots of instruction videos, and he's got a good team, and they take you through the process bit by bit, and they do the live streams where they get other people on and they give the tips, and he shows you the actual maps of the DVSA centres, how they do it. And there's only two ways a DVSA centre will do their mod 1. It'll either be the right hand course or the left hand course. It will never deviate. It's always the same. And RJH helped me a lot get a lot of my confidence.
Oh, the high speed swerve and
yeah,
all that's fun, isn't it? Yeah,
that is great fun. I mean, that's when I learnt the principle of counter steering, funnily enough, because you have to dip the handlebar in the direction of where that cone is, because otherwise the bike won't dip around that cone. But you do it subconsciously. You don't do it thinking about it. You just naturally just do it.
When you think about it, that's when you do it wrong.
Well, yeah, because I nearly come a cropper on the bend around the corner around here, because I wasn't concentrating on what I was doing, and there was a car coming the other way, and I thought it was going to come across the lane, and because I was concentrating on that car, I'd stopped dipping on that side of the handlebar, and I found myself on the white line by the road. So I lapsed concentration a bit there, but yeah, it's one of those things you subconsciously do. Ali, I ride back on the speed limit, do burnouts, lane split, wide wheelies, wide on sidewalks. Drew, you are
I've got to give him this. I've got to give him one of these. Yeah.
You are not a good influence. You're a bad man.
Hells, you're a bad man.
Bad man. That's when you need that little. You need the backtrack bad to the bone.
As Hill says, don't do what he does because you'll end up in jail, needing bail. Yeah.
See, next year I was thinking about doing the Route 60.
There you go. There it is. Raise, make bail.
Yeah. Trouble is though, yeah, you wouldn't make bail over there if you're English. What if you're English and you fuck up over there? Who's going to bail you out? How do you get out of that?
I'll tell you a story about an Englishman, me, driving a car in Tennessee, Memphis. I turned left out of a restaurant, and immediately there was a set of lights. Now, when I started to pull out, the lights were green. But I'm obviously checking to make sure it's clear. Look, check, clear. Started driving. I went through the lights. They changed to red. Right in front of a police car. This policeman pulled me over. And so I pulled over. I've stopped. And he was like forever before he got out of his car and walked up to us. And obviously he's run the plate. It's a rental car, etc., etc., etc. He was registered in Pennsylvania and I'm in Tennessee. And he just came walking up to the window and he just said, "Now tell me that was an accident." I said, "Yes, officer, I'm really sorry. That was an accident. I was pulling out the restaurant. The lights were green. As I reached them accelerating, the lights were red and I didn't think I had time to stop." He said, "Okay, then enjoy your vacation." And with that, I was free to go. Now, my brother-in-law is a state trooper up in Pennsylvania.
All right.
And when we got back to their place, we was telling him about it. And my sister-in-law went, "Well, what are they going to do? They're going to issue him a ticket and he's just not going to pay it." He said, "Oh, no, that's not what we do with tourists." He says, "We arrest them, we take them down to the jail, and then they pay the judge in the morning."
Oh. Ouch.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're ever going to get a YouTube video of Hells on Two Wheels getting pulled over by the law. Now that would be worth paying for.
I got a party with Hells. That's going to be one hell of a party, I tell you. I just make sure I got bail money.
Bail money. Yeah, they don't tell you that when you go on holiday to the States. Make sure you got some bail money.
Well, fuck it, if they make me miss my flight, they can buy me a new one.
Yeah, but I want to do the Route 66 next year. What am I going to do it on? I don't know.
Eagle Rider rent bikes go one way.
Oddly enough, Eagle Rider was the one I was looking at. I went to the Birmingham NEC for the bike show, and they had a stand, and I was talking to him for quite a while. He was a nice guy, and he gave me the list of all these bikes. He gave me the pamphlet of all the bikes you could have. Now, oddly enough, there was a selection of bikes there, some that I wouldn't even consider. You know, I wouldn't do it on a Triumph Thunderbird or anything like that. And one of them was a GS 1250, and I'm thinking, well, that's probably a good bike to have because the state of
Bandit, yeah.
Well, yeah, the state of Route 66 now. I mean, would you want to do it on a bike that didn't have?
You'd probably need Andy GSA's tractor to do it on, actually.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to get hold of a motorcycle dealer to get a test ride out on something like that. I just wonder if I'd get away with doing that.
Yeah.
Be quite a good thing to do.
I'll tell you what, you could borrow Hells's motorbike and you can push it along Route 66 because I don't think it'll ride.
What is it? Route 66? Is that about 2,000 miles of road? That isn't it?
Yeah. He'd lend you his bike and you can push it all the way.
Right, I'm kind of thinking, right, that's going to cost a fortune in fuel. That's 2,000 miles, and your standard Harley will do. Okay, well, there you go, Drew. How many miles will something like a Softail or any sort of like the bigger Harleys do? How many miles would you get out of a tank?
They do about 200, don't they?
I don't know. I get 150 miles out of a tank on my Triumph. I mean, are there gas stations along Route 66 is my question. You have to carry fucking fuel cans with you.
Lost the man yet, he means.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2,000 miles, that's going to be about a grand's worth of fuel, isn't it?
Yeah. 190 to 220 miles. There you go.
That's more fuel efficient than my bike.
Right, I'm going to have to leave you in charge for a minute because I need to visit the little boys' room. So entertain the folks. I'll be back.
No farting noises. We're probably going to hear some farting noises, people, soon because he forgot to turn his microphone off. So we'll probably hear some. Listen carefully. Yeah. So what's going on in the side chat? Who's actually here? There's 11 watching. 11 watching. I feel sorry for you having to watch my ugly mug all the while Simon is away, dropping the kids off at the pool or having a quick wee, or grabbing another drink out of the fridge. In fact, he probably keeps the fridge in the toilet. Wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. A beer fridge in the toilet. There's a selling point for you. There you go. So the gas stations, they're close together on the east side, but southwest you will be worried. They're a long way from each other. So are they more than 220 miles? Am I going to be carrying a spare tin of gas in my side panels? Did you wash your hands?
I washed my hands. I was showing you. Look.
Are you sure?
Yes. Look. See.
I'm going to run the ultraviolet light on here just to check. Mad old biker, how can I contact you?
Yes, he wants to contact you over doing stuff, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, my website.
I'll tell you what, the easiest way is to go onto his channel and click the contact me button and use that email address. There you
or
go.
you find me on paul-keating.com, my website. That's got a contact form. Yeah, so if you need like, I'm guessing you might need channel art done or a logo. I'm stacked up with logos at the moment. I've got 5 websites on the go, so I'm not short of work, but I'll get to you as quick as I can if that's something you need. Logos and stuff. I've got to do one for Rev Bomb somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a pressure sort of thinking of like logos for people, because it's something that is like your corporate image. Here he is, the bad man.
What's up?
Bad influence, bad man.
That's why when you hear me come in, you got a little 5-finger death punch, bad company. They call me. Yeah.
What's the time over there at the moment?
Oh, it's I don't know. Look, it's like 6:30, something till 7 in the evening.
Blimey.
Yeah.
I've got your number, Paul.
Hey?
Have I got your number?
No, probably not. I can send it to you.
You got my number? You call me.
I'll call you collect.
I'm the manager of the Single Mothers Dance Club. Every dollar counts. No, okay. So our adventures. Just give you an idea of what you might get into. And the funny thing is, I don't drink. I have stage 3 kidney failure, so I don't drink. I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't need to drink.
No.
And so one of the subscribers from the channel was at Daytona with us. Met us at Froggy's. If you haven't checked out any of my Froggy's videos, I'd let you know what we're doing with the. Anyways. And we were going to go to this other bar that we know. He's like, well, yeah, I'll go with you. I'm like, oh, well, I'll pick you up. That way you don't have to worry about riding and stuff. You just ride with us. So we get over there, pick them up. We're going down the road. Well, my passengers in the back are drunk. And the conversations was, hairy nipples. And one guy was telling the subscriber that he was asking him if his mom was single. His mom was single. And he's like, do you want a stepdaddy? Thanksgiving's about to get weird. You're grounded. Like this, I was like, this guy's never going to talk to us again. We're taking to like shady bars, having fun.
Brilliant.
I can't wait to come over there. I hope they're all as crazy as you, because I will go down a treat down there.
Yeah. Well, I'm over there last week of September, first week of October, and that's probably the last time you're ever going to see me alive.
Yeah, don't take any wrong turns, because I've seen the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre 5 times.
No, there's I'm actually from the state of West Virginia. There is a movie called Wrong Turn about West Virginia.
I saw that a little while ago. Scary film.
I'm like, oh man, that just looks like we're going to Walmart. What are they worried about?
What's the other one? Hills Have Eyes.
Yep, The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to GT Travels, who's just picked up his GTR 1400 or Concours 1400 as it's known in the States. Well, welcome to the club, man.
I've rode those concourses, and they are fast and they are comfortable. I like them.
Yeah, why do you think this old man likes them? Yeah.
They are stupidly fast.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, I've got the HP version, the high power version. That's 156 horsepower, I think it is, and it's round about 196 mile an hour top end on it. Els is dancing. He must have a school in dancing tonight.
Well, when I've done my Triumph, I'm helping a friend of mine. He's putting together a Hayabusa. It was 1300, but it's now got a turbo on it. It's cranked up to about 305 horsepower. And he's asked, because he's quite a big lad, he's asked me to be the test rider for it.
Right.
Yeah, ratchet strap yourself to it and take off. You're good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to need those like ratchet straps to keep me on this thing because
A booster 1300 with a turbo on it. Yeah, you will do, mate.
it's
You will do.
stupidly fast. And it's not just any booster. He's gone and ripped all the fairings off. It's now a naked booster.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's different.
Let me have it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of it somewhere. I'll put it up on my channel and show you. This thing is an absolute animal. But imagine that top whack, a naked bike, top whack, 305 horsepower. This thing will do easily. I mean, the normal speed of a standard booster is what, 186 miles an hour?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like to think what this thing could do.
I dread the thing.
I mean, I've had my road glide to 141 mile an hour.
Damn.
You know, the thing is, with speed on a motorbike, when you are going stupidly quick, it does feel like everything slows down and you don't actually realise you're doing the speed you are. Because I used to, before I got on a motorbike, I'd be thinking to myself, those kind of speeds just are impossible to keep an eye on everything and keep control of the bike and keep an eye around you. But it's quite scary that when you are doing those speeds, it's easy to do those speeds and it's too easy in some ways, and that's what is scary.
Oh no, it's not easy on a road glide because they're not made to go that fast, and it gets sketchy. Because any little movement you make, it gets it all out of whack, and you do the wiggle waggle.
The faster you go, the more exaggerated the inputs are, and that's, depending on the bike you're on, makes it all the more scary because the little inputs.
Yeah, just like a movement of your foot or something can really throw you out.
Slight shift of your weight or more weight on a peg or a slight, you don't fucking sneeze when you're doing something like a bend on at that speed. Find yourself in a ditch, but I mean, it is pretty weird.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. 141 mile an hour, no helmet.
Well, yeah, and no leathers.
No leathers.
Because you guys don't like wearing all the leathers, do you? I've seen pictures of, because there's this channel that I looked at before I started riding, of all these crashes, and most of them are in America, and most of them are these 20-somethings or these teenagers on stupidly fast bikes, like your R1s and H2 Kawasaki's, and they're doing stupid speeds on your roads, and so your roads on camera look like they're ice rinks. They are not like our roads where there's some tarmac and some grip. Your roads look like the ones that you find in Spain and Portugal,
They're
where
concrete, not tarmac. That's why a lot of them.
Yeah, it's
but a lot of the asphalt they use has a ton of grip, especially when it's hot. It's like getting onto a track. It gets sticky. The oil and stuff comes through, and that tar gets sticky. So it's like there's a few places like I can hang my bike out at.
Hell, sorry. Get ready for some abuse. I've got another guest coming in. Here he comes.
Who's coming in? Hey!
Oh God!
He's wearing the wrong T-shirt.
It should say Indian on it, shouldn't it? Really?
Never.
Going over to Indian crew. He's going over. He's defecting from the Harley brand, dude.
Well, if they stop trying to charge me 30 grand for a damn motorcycle, then I might think about it. Nothing's worse than that. I remember I think the first flat I looked at when I was 21 wasn't even 30 grand.
My first house was 30 grand when I bought it like 30 odd years ago.
Exactly. That's madness.
It is,
absolute
isn't it?
Madness. It's I like the new ST. How much is that? 30 grand. Oh, that's nice. I like the new Lowrider S. How much is that? Oh, that's 20 grand. And you go, is there anything involved in this situation with buying these bikes that isn't going to put me into financial bankruptcy? You know, so
Yeah, it's the plan. That's the plan. You buy it, the bike disappears, you do bankruptcy, and then you just happen to ride around on a free bike.
And that's the way, ladies and gentlemen, they do it in the USA.
That's it. I mean, but at the same time, though, right? What bugs me is it's like for somebody who has been riding Harleys for a long time and motorcycles in general for a long time, it's the what you can buy for that 30 grand. Coming from other bikes. You know what I mean? For 30 grand, I could probably have 4 bikes for that. Easy.
Well, what's funny is my Softail Deuce, when I bought it, I thought 10 grand was just ridiculously stupid to buy for a motorcycle. I'm like, oh my gosh, who would pay 10 grand for a motorcycle? I can't believe I'm doing this. Now stuff's like 30, 40, 50, 52,000 for a new CVO. Like, what the?
Well, I was speaking to one of the salesmen last week, right? And I was saying that to him. He was asking me about what I was thinking about doing for a new bike, and I just said, I can't see past that price tag. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And he says, and the overall, and it's like what he said, and he was just saying, people just look at the monthly payment.
Yeah,
they're not looking at £30,000. They're looking at £300 a month, or in UK anyway, like £300 a month or £350 a month. They're not looking at the £30,000 price tag, because over the course of them having that bike in their possession for say 3 years, they'll never pay 30 grand for that bike. You know what I mean? They'll just be paying the payments for 2-3 years.
The interest. Yeah, they'll just be paying the interest for. Nothing will go to the principal.
So
and then you're upset in a motorcycle.
Yeah. So I'm just a bit. I think it's still, even when somebody says to me like, "Oh, there's a bike at say £30,000 or whatever," even the PCP payment is eye-watering. I don't know what Simon and everyone else is thinking, but that's just, to me, is like, how much? How much?
I would not get a bike on PCP, because
No.
you never own that bike. I would never do it personally.
No, commercially it's not viable, is it?
I will get a loan for a bike, or take a bike on finance, or buy a bike outright. I will never say, oh, actually, I can get a 10 grand dearer bike if I get it on PCP, and then in 3 years' time, I've got this much money I've got to pay for it, or trade it in for, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
That's right. I get that. Mm-hmm. And I think
Hi,
that's
Sarah.
the way you've got.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, Mrs. is on. She's wetting you.
Oh, she's making sure I'm still breathing after my flight.
So that's why I won't do PCP personally, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I would rather release some equity in my house, buy what I wanted, and then I'm really borrowing off the bank of poorly poos rather than the high street bank. I'm wondering if that might have been a better idea for me if I were to buy a big bike. There's no point in me buying a new bike at the moment. Because if I were, I still wouldn't even know what I would want to buy if I was to. I don't think I'd ever be spending anywhere near 30 grand. I'll tell you that now. I would never be able to justify.
I would never buy brand new anyway, because I'd never motorcycle. I never have done. I never have done. And the reason is the depreciation straight off the bat.
That's the main. That's the main.
So I will get one that's 2-3 years old, that's got really low mileage. My bike, when I bought it, she was 3 years old and she had 7,000 miles on her.
So what I did was, over the years, I'd buy bikes and flip bikes where I was making money. I kept reinvesting until this bike. So I could go in there and buy a $30,000 motorcycle and know that I'm good, not going to be flipped upside down, and get what I want.
Yeah.
And Rode some shitty bikes for a while, but
You've got
eventually-
to. You've got
We all
to
did.
ride the
We all
shitty
did.
bikes. You've got to ride the shitty bikes for a while, because then, like me, from my perspective, you then appreciate, later on when I do buy a bike with more technology. The bike I'm on right now doesn't even have ABS. There's no electronic aids. There's nothing. It's just a basic bike. There's no bells and whistles. And it does intrigue me in a way, because I'm kind of like thinking, what would it be like to get on a bike that has all this tech, all these little buttons and, WYSIWYGs on it? What would that be like? Are they easier to ride? I can't answer that.
Try the Indian Chief Dark Horse Bobber.
If there was an Indian dealership anywhere near me, and I'd have to look up to see where the nearest one is, I probably would. But there again, having said that, over the last couple of years, I've seen more Indians on the road in this country than I ever have before.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely stepped up their game, trying to get more of these things on the market. So,
but there again, Indian and Harley go back all the way to the early 1900s. There's always been a competition between the two brands, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely, and I think, and it's healthy. It's a healthy competition.
Yeah, it is, because one has always gone ahead of the other, and then the other one it's been a 2-horse race between those two brands. And at the Birmingham show, Indian had a fantastic showcase of their bike. I'm not even sure Harley had anything really much to speak of at the Birmingham show. They did in the London one. The London one, they were more present, but Harley didn't have much to do with the Birmingham show this year.
Nah, they never even didn't even have a presence in the Scottish show either, which was last month. No presence at all.
But why? Is it complacency, or is it the fact that, I don't know?
We did get told in confidence why, Sarah and I, and I just still think it was a little bit of a cop out. Is maybe the word to use. So I'll maintain the privacy that they told me, but I will say though that I still think any opportunity to sell or promote a brand is still an opportunity, and you should have taken it. It doesn't have to be a massive stall. It could just have been like a small display, just to say, look, we're here. We have Harley Davidsons, that kind of thing.
I'm kind of wondering.
We have a presence, yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if a lot of the brands were sort of holding back a little bit, because there was a big push this year for electric bikes. All the makers like Zero.
You keep talking electric bike, I'm going to kick you out.
Yeah.
By the way, that Zero bike is awesome.
It is.
I'm kicking him out.
All right, Simon, what do you want to talk about?
Next week, I've been given an opportunity to ride the Harley Davidson Live Wire.
All right.
And I'm going to take one of those out for the day and have a bit of a mess around on it.
Some fries your nuts.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking forward to riding something different. My experience with bikes is a lot less than you guys. So
there goes Gills.
Oh, is he?
All you'll hear is.
Yeah,
that's all you'll hear.
That's what concerns me. It's tough enough being on a bike in traffic when you've got some noise about you. What the hell am I going to be doing when I'm coming up in traffic and this silent bike is just not going to be seen? I mean,
just make noises. Just pull up and go.
Do you remember as kids, we used to put a playing card on the spokes of a bike?
Yeah, you're going to have to do that on the electric bike.
On the Live Wire. You go click, 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 click. Yeah. And have a great big squeezy horn hooter, like.
Well, there you go. There's my wife commented saying she put louder exhausts on her Softail just so she could be heard, because her Softail was really quiet,
Yeah, well.
So, but when you hear that, Will you? What's wrong?
Just start. Yeah,
Just
my
fart
Fart
and
and yell jet power. But it's true though. I mean, I was at the dealership and one of those electric bikes pulled off, and the only noise you heard was the rubber in contact with the road. You know that. You know the noise, the slapping, the rubber slap noise.
Yeah.
And that's all you heard. You couldn't hear. Obviously, there's no revs. There's nothing moving. You know, even when you start it, it's like it's on.
But these things will do 0 to 60 in just over 2 seconds. How scary is that?
Oh, I know. God, it takes me longer to basically do a lot of things.
I don't even blink that quick.
Yeah.
But
I know, but there's the thing, right? You're talking about not being a very experienced rider. How do you feel about getting on this bike?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
That's what I'm saying. This thing will literally pull you through, like, will basically like pull you along like supercar speeds.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Superbike speed.
My
right?
Triumph.
And if you're not an experienced rider, exactly. And if you're not a very experienced rider, I'm going to jump on an electric motorbike that'll do 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. If you're not ready for that, that'll throw you off it. No problem.
But this is it.
Look
how
at
they handle the restriction.
Yeah.
Because there aren't. If you actually look at it, there aren't any A2 equivalent licensed electric bikes.
No.
They're either
right.
they're either 50cc, 125, and even the 125s will do about 100, which is a bit hello. But there is
used to have 125s that did 100 in the 80s. Shut up.
TZR.
Well, I did. I've been on a fizzy. I got a fizzy up to 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to ride legally.
Look at these. Did you ever watch that show on Discovery Channel? What's it called? Is it Street Outlaws or something? Right.
Oh right, yeah, I know what you mean.
Right, and you've got this young guy went and bought a Tesla.
Oh God.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the Tesla equivalent to? Something like 700 horsepower. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was drag racing against all these guys up and down America who were like spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their like Chevelles and their Murder Novas and all these kind of like big V8s, right? And then this young guy turns up in a Tesla and whips them up.
Yeah,
you know, like 20-odd-year-old. I'll race you for pink slips. All right, jumps in his $70,000 Tesla, beaten.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same in a motorbike. You'd probably outrun most things on the road, no problem.
Yeah, you would easily.
You know.
But my argument with his electric bike, I want to race them, but I want to race them for 220 miles. Not much stand a chance.
Well, a live wire will do 280.
He'll do what?
What's his name?
A live wire will do 280 miles on a full charge.
Yeah, not at my speed, it won't.
Who remember they raced the electric bikes around the TT?
Yeah, they do. They have done for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it'll become like the Formula E, the motor racing. Who watches Formula E? Nobody.
Formula
I think some tree huggers do. I'm not sure. But...
Nobody watches
Formula E.
Formula
E. A tree.
You're barking up the wrong tree there, mate.
Well, apparently,
I don't want to hug that tree. If I'm going to hug it, I'm going to see how big it is. So I know what sizes I've got to cut it up for.
All I'm going to say to you is, please be careful on that electric bike.
Oh, I'll be with an instructor because it's his bike. He's got 2 of these, and he's the guy. I did the CBT in Essex, and I did my main test up in Manchester. And I'm doing his website for him, and I just said, I'd love to go out on that. I've got my full license now, and he said, "Well, come out with me. I've got 2 of these."
Yeah.
So I'll be with him. I'm not going to be stupid on this. I will be very, very mindful that, because of the quietness of the bike, I will be riding and shitting myself at the same time, I'm sure.
Well,
But
like Sarah says there, look, it's just as quick as your right hand will let you. So the more you twist, the faster it goes.
oh yeah, you're
But-
right.
Right, and that's a fact. And what
Yeah.
Sarah says is absolutely spot on. But
Oh, absolutely.
there's
she's spot on.
there is something else here. When you're riding a motorbike now, as you're getting more experienced in all this, when you're open up the throttle, you can hear the revs, you can hear the engine, you can tell. You don't even have to look at the speedo. Sometimes you can probably guess what speed you're doing.
You get
Am I
a
right?
feel for the revs and the speed, yeah.
Right, because I can tell. I could probably do that with my bikes now after having them for so long. That electric bike, you try that electric bike, you don't know what the hell's going on. There's no gears, there's no clutch.
Well, you're going to be doing over the speed limit very quickly without even realizing it, because you've got no engine pitch to
Exactly.
gauge the speed.
You're going to have to have more eye on your clocks till you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
I
I mean,
it's not so much getting used to the noise and everything else. It's when you've been riding for so long, you know the feeling of doing 70 mile an hour and 50 mile an hour. You get that feeling. You get
do,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you get that sensation of everything's going past you and everything else. You get that sensation. But if you're not used to that and you haven't got that, then I can see that you're getting on an electric bike and you're going, shh, and you're doing 100 mile an hour before you realise you're doing 100 mile an hour. You know, you think, oh, I'm just going along at 50. And I get that. It's, yeah.
And the thing is, because a lot of people say they instinctively go for the clutch on an electric bike. You haven't got anything like that. You've only got one thing to think of, and that's, you know, your twisting action and your braking action and your foot brake. But part of the discipline of riding a motorbike is controlling the speed along with being in the right gear and being in the appropriate gear when you decelerate. Now, you haven't got that with electric bike. As soon as you wind off on the throttle, I'd imagine there's a significant amount of electric motor braking. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
But we'll see.
Slow down very quickly.
I'm gonna have my helmet cam on, and I will be sort of. If I'm quiet and I'm not saying anything, that's when you know I'm thinking shit. If I'm talking,
have you ever test drove a Tesla?
No, not yet. My mate Simon has got one, and he's offered to take me out in it soon. And I've said I'd love a go. I find
we test drove one.
What did you think?
It's scary when you take your foot off the throttle; it just stops.
Oh right.
Right.
I suppose it's charging the battery.
Yeah. There's two options. There's a slow stop. I think there's like a slow to stop, or there's like a normal. I can't remember the other function. But Sarah and I went to Glasgow back in 2020, and it was like you took your foot. If I didn't have the setting on where it would coast a little bit, it just would literally stop. It was like, whoa, you know. Whereas it's like when you take your foot off the throttle in a car, you know, it starts the engine brake, you know, coast.
You've got a bit of coasting still, haven't you?
Where the Tesla is totally the opposite of that, you know. Yeah, but it's interesting, you know.
I mean,
GT Travels. I bet that was in second gear. Yeah.
I don't know GT Travels, but I think I know the bike he bought. I was on the Superbike Factory website a little while ago, about a week ago, and they've got thousands of bikes. They've got about 2,000 bikes. They've got two sites. One's in Doncaster, and I was actually looking at the GTR 1400 they had there. Absolutely, if it's the one I'm thinking of, this one was absolutely mint. And it was quite low mileage, even though it was a 14 plate, I think it was. I think it's either the silver one or the bluish. There's a bluey one that they had. And they're doing some good deals at the moment. But I'll tell you what, though, if you've never been on a bike of that size, then yeah, I bet you that was quite scary for you.
GT Travels he's actually just bought a 2014 one. I wonder if it's the blue or silver one that you was looking at.
All right.
Yeah. I think it would have been that. I think they only had 2. But how cool!
So,
though, going up
apart
there
from
by
the obvious
train and then
questions,
riding it back.
apart from the obvious question, right? So the GTR 1400 and the ZZR 1400, one being the touring version, one being the super hyper sport version.
Yeah.
Is there anything else different in them? Are they tuned differently?
Yeah, they are slightly tuned differently. They are geared differently, definitely.
Right.
The GTR is geared more for touring version, and the ZZR for racing, if you like. The ZZR's got a longer first gear,
Right.
and the GTR has got a overdrive instead of a 6th gear.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. The other major difference is the ZZR is chain driven and the GTR is shaft driven.
No. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what you can do is you can have a ZZR and a GTR next to each other, and apart from the back end swing arms, you can actually swap everything over to each other. They share the same frame and the same engine, same everything else.
So are they saying that a chain drive is more suitable for the racing than the shaft drive?
Yeah, because of the weight advantage. If you look at the ZZR weighs about 250 something kilos, and the GTR weighs 320. So,
wow,
and that's not just the shaft drive; that's the fairings and everything else as well. But yeah. But there's a significant weight difference. Yeah.
I just find it so funny. You get these big touring bikes like that GTR 1400, and it'll do 190
odd mile an hour. Yeah.
I've never met anybody who's that desperate to get to Tesco's that fast.
No.
You know,
I will admit mine has been up to 160 on a private road. Yeah. It's been up to 160, and at that speed, it scared the living shit out of me. It wasn't the fact of speed. It wasn't the fact of speed I was doing. It was the fact that I couldn't see, because when you're riding, your peripheral vision is made up of what your brain sees. It's not what you see; it's what your brain sees.
Yeah.
When you're going that fast, your brain, unless it's trained to do so, will not see anything. So you start to get like a tunnel building up. And that is all you're looking for. It's like looking for a snorkel.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. And that scared the shit out of me. So
I can only imagine. I did a Hayabusa run when I was younger, and Sarah doesn't like me talking about it, but it's like when you're riding like a sports bike doing that kind of speed, you're tucked in.
Yeah.
You're like this, you know, and you're looking through this tiny little screen in front of you, you know, like that. Whereas doing that speed, sitting upright, that must be something else, because you're not tucked in, you're not aerodynamic as possible. You are literally in the full force of 160 miles an hour coming at you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was sat up but leaning forward. My screen was in its mid position, but you could see it flexing. She really did bend in. I didn't have any big thought about it was going to break or anything, but you could see everything bending in, and because of the way the aerodynamics changed as I got to a higher speed, the wind was pushing on me back. It was coming around the screen and pushing on me back, so I was actually probably pushing myself away from the bars.
Okay.
Because it wanted to lay me across the tank, and I'm like, no, I'm not laying across the tank. I'm sitting up.
That was your bike telling you, brace yourself.
Yeah. No, lean forward. You need to kiss your ass goodbye now.
I was just going to say that, you know, we might tuck in now, boys, tuck in down.
Right. Let's welcome Roland in all the way from Oz. Good evening, Roland.
Hey, how you going? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear. How you doing, Roland?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks. What about yourselves?
Not bad,
Yeah,
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Good.
Not bad.
We're just
What
talking
time
about
is it?
taking bikes above the speed limit on private roads.
Is it Mexico? You take your
Mexico.
bikes to
I was in Mexico.
Yes.
A long time ago in Mexico.
Yeah.
Lived there young. No, we won't go
It's
there.
amazing how often I go to Mexico, I tell you.
Yeah, I know. It's such a popular place for bikers.
It is, especially around here.
What are you working on at the moment, Roland?
Interesting question. I don't know if you guys know Bolt Bucket.
Bolt Bucket?
No.
Yeah. He's another YouTuber. He's actually local to me. He's about 5 minutes away from my place. And
Right.
and we've been last night we got out the welder and hang on. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Come out a bit, Roland. I can't see that.
That's 8 bangers,
Oh.
isn't it? That's,
Oh my god.
wow.
Oh my god.
wow. 8 hangers without a chain.
Yep.
Wow.
Ghost
That's
Rider.
that's Ghost Rider
Right.
stuff, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Wow.
Ghost Rider. That is awesome.
Yeah, something different, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what biking is all about, you see. I
You
like
get
that.
them all kind of copper plated up or chrome plated and get that into a bike show. That's pretty cool.
No, this thing rust is the actual total finish.
The rattler.
All right.
Yeah. Check out the exhaust.
Upswept
my
shotguns. Yeah. What bike is it? What kind of bike is it that he's riding?
It's a Kawasaki VN 800, I think.
Ah, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What motivated the whole handlebar rebuild was the it had a set of like really tall ape hangers on it, but the clutch cable broke.
Oh,
And,
right, okay.
And to get a custom made clutch cable to suit it was a ridiculous price, especially when the bike's not worth that much in the first place.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd make up our own custom bars and lower them a little bit and use a just an aftermarket generic clutch cable, which has done the job. So yeah,
Cool. Right.
bit of fun.
I think you could be the Australian version of Alan Milliard.
Mm-mm. It's awesome. It's awesome.
He's one of my biggest heroes, Alan Milliard. I love that guy.
It reminds me of Indian Larry motorcycle shop in Boston. It's in Brooklyn, New York, Brooklyn, America. And what they do, when I went over in 2016, they were making a frame on the down tube. They actually twist it. So when the actual down tube's actually like on the frame is actually twisted.
Oh, candy twisting. Heating it up.
It's really cool. Yeah. If you ever watch the video, Indian Larry bike frame, but it's just they sit there on the jig and they heat it up and they're twisting it at the same time and it's red hot, it's glowing red and it's really, really cool, But these guys are selling these bikes for like $80,000 US, though, So
you could write your own price tag for some of these things. I think Orange County choppers, they're not going anymore, but they sort of set that sort of trend a few years back, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But no, that's good. That's good. So, how long till that is completed then, Roland? Or is it nearly done, or are you done, or what?
No, we done. We did it last night.
Oh, blimey!
Yeah.
So, what's next? What's the next challenge?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on how many more bits fall off of this thing.
That's what I love. I love that.
Awesome.
This is one of those bikes that I think from the moment it was purchased, It probably had its first service from the dealership, and that was it. And it's never been under a garage apart from being in here.
Oh, it's been unloved.
Yeah. Mechanically, it's really good though.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not a bad beast. I mean, we've done a couple of things, like we've put a smaller sprocket on the rear end to get some more top end out of it. It's got a little bit of a carby issue, but that's not too bad. We'll work through that.
Right.
But yeah, basically, it's a pretty sound bike. But it's one of those that it wasn't terribly expensive, and the owner or Nathan is the guy's name. He's decided to rat rod it. So I think the rat rodding process is coming along quite well.
Yes, it is. Have you still got that ZZF14R of yours?
Yeah,
Still got it, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the ZX14R.
Look at
Oh,
that.
that's a nice colour. That's pretty.
That is stunningly beautiful with it. Look at that.
And the M109R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, go back to the Kawasaki. Yeah.
It's a nice colour of red, that, isn't it? It's beautiful.
That is. You don't usually see them in red. Very rare. They're very rare in red.
I love the front of that. That looks so mean, isn't it?
The ZZR 1400 in UK, that looks like a mean bike at the front with the 4 headlights, and it really does look the business, and it does the business as well. It's very, very nice. I'm glad to have it assisted with my bike, so
road presence.
That one's had a little bit of work done on it. Done a bit of
everybody blow a kiss to Sarah. Mwah. No night, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Night, Sarah.
Take care. Take care, Sarah.
Stacey tells you that she's going to bed, no me.
Yeah. Well, she just told you via me, so yeah, I'm a proxy.
Oh, thanks, Simon. Fact,
what she's really doing, she's going to bed with a nice drink and watch telly in bed. I'm guessing that's what they all do.
Oh my God, she's got the whole place to herself. She'll party it up.
So is it starting to warm up that way, guys?
No.
No, it's got colder.
That's a sore point, Roland. We had some nice weather for about a week, and then it just went back to the Arctic blizzard again.
Yeah,
I tell you what, we've had the most piss weak summer I've known in my lifetime here this year, and last year wasn't that much better either.
No,
it's just been lukewarm, and that's it.
Right.
So I don't go to church or anything like that, but if I do, and next time I do, I'm going to complain.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna blame all the tree huggers. It's their fault,
Yeah.
It's the environmental people.
I reckon it's these electric cars. It's something to do with that.
I'm up for that. Electric cars, electric bikes, ban them. They're bad for the environment. There you go.
They are.
That's it. Yeah, bad for the environment.
Not good.
Actually, I've got to agree with him there. It was really nice to be out on a bike today. I only did 40 miles a day, so that's quite low for me. But while I was out on the bike, it was really nice, and I managed to throw a quick video together. So it was awesome.
Oh.
I just think I'm cursed every time it's like sunny. My bike's either in bits or I can't get on it. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Sometimes that does happen.
Well, let me know the next time you're going to take your bike apart, because I'm going to plan the ride out.
Yeah, thanks. I think this time is the last time. This time now, this should be licked, problem sorted. If not, I'm sending it over to Roland and he can turn it into something else. I can't afford to send it in one package, so Roland, you're probably going to get it in bits.
137 parcels that will make a Triumph 1200, the old trophy, yeah.
See what you can do with a Triumph 1200, yeah.
Those Triumph 1200s, they're a hell of a nice bike, though.
It is nice, and I do love her, but the thing is, it's an old bike. She's 1997, she's getting on a bit, and things just go wrong after a while. I'm going to keep her for a few months, and I'm going to be then thinking about what my next bike is going to be. I actually might be
1400.
Do you have to think about that?
Yeah,
Really?
I procrastinate far too much. Well, at least I think I do. But
Roland, he's like a woman. He changes his mind so fucking regularly anyway.
I change my mind like my pants. But the thing is, I might
once every 6 months.
every 5 in the summer. It gets a bit hotter. But I might actually go down to something like a 750 or an 800cc actually.
Right.
I'll tell you what, after riding the 1200, you won't want to go down. You won't feel comfortable.
Well, I was thinking that, but I think my next bike is going to be a Suzuki GSXF 800.
I got an option for you.
What?
And definitely take one for a test ride.
What?
But and if you can get a second-hand one with low Ks, all the better. One of the new rehashed Z9s.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
They're an upright bike. They're not a lean over tank bike.
Right.
They're very comfortable, very nimble, and the 900's probably punching out about 45-50 horsepower more than the original version.
Well, because my one is 108 horsepower, but you don't think of the horsepower. It's quite a torquey bike, so I can get through up to 6 gear by 30 miles an hour, and it will do from 30 to 100 within a stupid amount of time, and it's very torquey.
Yeah.
Is the Z9? What's the sort of gears on a Z9 like? Am I going to be using the gears a lot? What's that all about?
Pretty lazy. They're pretty lazy. Like I said, the best thing to do would be to try one out.
Right.
If you like the 1200 and how that performs, you'll definitely like the 900.
All right, that's good advice. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah. I think they're going to be. Well, they're not underrated because they're not all that old, really. They've only come out in the last sort of 3 years, but they're a bike that people look over. But those that do stop and look end up getting and really finding they're a bloody good animal.
All right. Interesting.
That's interesting. Actually, that's a interesting point of view. I'll look at that seriously.
Because to drop down from the 1200 to say a 750, I think you'll find too much of a gap if you like your torque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, because the style of the riding that I really want to be doing, I want to be doing some like long haul stuff. I'm not going to be nipping around town or anything like that. But
have you seen one of the Z9s?
No, I haven't actually looked at the Z9 at all. If I'm completely honest. Not at all. I can't even picture. I can't even picture one at the moment. I'm going to have to. You've got
Google it now. Yeah. The only reason I say is don't go below a 1200 is I went from a 700 to 1000. I started out riding the 1000cc, which is where I ended up on the 1400 because it was all about having the power there excess to what I was doing. You know, and if you're riding a 1000cc bike and you're actually pushing it to its limits all the time, you sort of think to yourself, well, okay, I've outgrown it, if you like, and I developed forward. And someone once told me is once you go up the CCs, you do not want to go backwards because if you go backwards, it feels like you're losing.
So I'm looking at a picture of a Z9 now, and looking at it, it's not a million miles away from the bikes that I was using when I was learning the bigger bikes. It's a lot like chassis wise and frame and seat position and peg position to the Z650 that I was using.
Yeah.
And I did like that. That was a nice bike.
I mean, the old Kawasaki 900, we called them a Quacker 9 here. They were back in the day in the 70s and 80s. If you had one of them, that was the duck's guts. But how they've retuned or rehashed the engine and retuned it's a slick machine.
See, the only thing I don't like about a lot of the modern bikes now is because over here we have this Euro 5 crap. The exhaust systems on our bikes over here are big ugly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You would need to be putting an aftermarket exhaust on that to make it look anywhere pretty enough to be acceptable, because the exhaust system, I don't know what the situation is in Australia with your emissions and stuff like that, but the stock exhaust systems these days are pig ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the weight that's involved with them as well, you know, like the weight saving just with changing them was unreal.
Yeah, and this is it, you see.
Mhm.
And of course, we've got the added thing of having to be, if you live in the city or near the city, you've got to have a bike that's ULEZ compliant, which means you know you're not spending money on
about the ULEZ compliant. As long as your bike is post 2007, you're laughing.
Is it 2007?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as you're, I mean, I went into a zero ULEZ zone or whatever it was in Birmingham, and as soon as I rode into it, I thought, shit, I've got to pay something extra now. I'm on a 1400cc bike that was 2015 registered. I went on their website, put my reg in, no, free. And then I started looking into it, and it's most bikes, I will say most bikes, after built or registered after 2007 are ULEZ compliant. So you can go into all these zero ULEZ zones and all the rest of it, and it don't cost you anything.
You can have older bikes converted to ULEZ compliant. And did you?
A friend of mine said he's Bandit. He's got a 2004 Bandit 1200 Sport that he spent 300 and something pound on having it fiddled with, as I put it, and he said converted, and it is now ULEZ compliant.
They put extra. All they do is they put an extra cat in.
I don't know what they did to it, but it cost him 300 odd quid, and he was ever so chuffed that he can now go into these zones. And I said, yeah, but Dave, you never do go into these zones, so you just wasted your money. I think it would have been cheaper for him to pay every time he went into them.
I have a question, right? Now I don't have a lot of these. We don't have a lot of that stuff up here. At home, I should say, in Scotland.
Yeah.
What do they do to check? Now, if you took your bike into these zones, is
they've
somebody
got
going around and
ANPR, rear-facing ANPR cameras that read every registration that goes into these zones, the same as they do for the congestion charge in London.
Right.
As soon as you ride into these zones, it reads your number plate, and then it will check if you're ULEZ compliant or not. And then if you're not, it will register a bill to that address. And then if you go on and pay that bill, you're fine. If you don't pay that bill within a certain amount of time, they send you a bill.
So I'm gonna sound dumb. ULEZ compliant. What is it? Is this emissions?
Yeah. It's all to do with emissions.
Okay. Yeah.
Which motorcycles are exempt from emissions under the MOT at the moment.
Yeah.
As long as, and what they decided was that most motorcycle manufacturers in 2007, they said, we are going to make our motorcycles ULEZ compliant, start sticking cats in the exhaust and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so as long as your bike is after 2007 or you've got a ULEZ compliant certificate, which is what you take it to the garage for, and they fiddle with it and they get it ULEZ compliant. Unless you've got that certificate registered to your vehicle or it's after 2007, you've got to pay the fee.
Wow.
There's zero emission zones going up. Birmingham's got one. Bristol's got one coming in. Oxford's got one coming in. London's already got one. Manchester's got one coming in. Liverpool's looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, all these major cities, they're putting these in. And so if you buy a bike that's older than 2007, you've got to pay, I think it's £12.50 every time you go into these zones.
Oh, wow. I just wouldn't even ride the bike into these places. I would just be buying a scooter.
Yeah, I'll go round them. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like too much. That's too much red tape for me.
It is a lot of red tape. Yeah, that's the joys of living in England, not Scotland. So.
That's right. You know, I mean, all I care about is get on my bike and go ride it up north and middle of nowhere. You know, wow.
Well, if they say you rode your bike in this area, you say no, I pushed it. The engine wasn't working.
So Crumbly Mal
does is read your number plate. Yeah.
Crumbly Mal is asking about classic bikes. I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone know what happens about classic bikes? Are they exempt?
Must be exempt. Maybe.
No, they're not. They're
They're
not exempt.
not.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's
They're extending the London. This is a big issue that's come up. They're extending the London ULEZ zone out to near the M25, which will then include or out. Is it the M25 or the North Circular? I can't remember which.
North Circular.
North Circular. Thank
Yeah.
you. Which then will include anybody that travels to the Ace Cafe in London.
Or that
Ace Cafe in London runs classic bike days.
So they're going to
everybody that takes their bike down to the Ace Cafe in London will have to pay the fee.
I can see the Ace Cafe shutting down then.
Or moving. That'd be a better idea.
Yeah.
What the hell, yeah.
That's bloody ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is ridiculous. Yeah. And would the Australians stand for it? No, you wouldn't, would you? But the UK, we just bend over and just fucking do it to me. Don't even give me a reach round.
Another tax, another bill to pay.
Another way to get the money out your pocket. Yeah, you're right, Gary.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's just bullshit. That.
You know what, they're going to be happy with us, but we're doing nothing that we don't pay. We don't spend our money on anything because there's too much red tape around it. You know, it's ridiculous. Man.
I do have.
If I was a regular user of a motorbike that rode into a ULEZ zone and it was going to cost me £12.50 every day to go in that zone, and I had a car that was ULEZ compliant, I would put the number plate from my car on my bike because the police don't pull you over anymore. It's just all cameras that check number plates. So every day they would see my car going in and out of fucking the ULEZ zone, but I'm on my bike.
Simon, I do have a remedy for that sort of problem, though.
Yeah.
And it's how I get away with my Mexico trips.
Yep.
And I don't know about the UK, but over here we only require one number plate, and that's on the rear of the bike, right?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah.
Okay, your number plate light, you take that out.
Yeah, and mine's not worked for 5 years, but yeah.
Yeah, you replace that with 4 or 5 high-powered infrared LEDs.
Yeah.
And what that does, it completely whites out your plate with any digital camera.
Excellent.
I'm going to Mexico more often now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Mexico all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever, actually, I can show you what I mean. Hang on.
Somewhere in Mexico.
Here's a standard remote, right?
Yeah.
Right.
When you push the button.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, and that's very, very low powered, but you can get high powered ones. You put 3 or 4, just solder in 3 or 4 into where the number plate light is, and you'll make it completely impervious to cameras.
Oh,
this
wow.
is why I like Australians. They find a way around problems, don't they?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we said that while the policeman was out of the room anyway. So.
I heard that.
Hello. He's back.
I was just getting
The plod is here.
Time to go.
We're away to Mexico.
We were all in Mexico discussing Mexico business. All right.
Yeah. It wasn't even said in English either.
No. It was said in Mexico-ish.
Oh my God, we're doomed. It was said in Mexico-ish.
I don't speak Mexico-ish.
I don't even think people in Mexico speak Mexico-ish either.
It won't do you any good. Won't do you any good if you've got a copper on the side of the road with a radar. It won't do you any good there.
Yeah.
but all the overhead cameras that are all over the place, particularly where you guys are, every time it sees your vehicle, all it sees is a bright white plate.
Yeah. I might give that. I'll investigate. I shall say. I'll use the term investigate.
I believe, and I'm not sure if they're in English, but I believe there are quite a few YouTube clips about it and how to go about it.
Right.
For anybody who's interested.
Can I let you into a little secret?
You may.
The gantry cameras are all of a new technology now, and they have the ability to inverse the image. So if you've got a number plate,
you spoil all up, Paul.
If you've got a number plate treated with this coating that disguises the plate in certain light, they've got the ability to be able to inverse the image to pick up the plate now.
Well, I'm glad you told me that secret, because it still makes my secret impervious to that secret.
Good man. Well, do you know what? Even though, I do that job, I do think that a lot of the laws are a little bit stupid over here, especially. And there are different types of coppers in this country. There are the ones that stick to the rules and they stick to the line, and there are ones like me who are discretionary, and will look at something, and it's all about, you hear it all the time. It's all about the attitude of the person that you're talking to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And if you're dealing with someone on the side of the road because they've done something silly, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I've got bigger problems to worry about.
Yeah.
And if the attitude of that person I'm dealing with is like, oh, yeah, bang to rights, sorry, officer, I'm just going to say, look, just keep it down, keep the speed down, or ride a bit more sensibly, because being a biker myself, I know what the temptations are like. I know what it's all about. So it's very discretionary. So there are some that perhaps might stick by the rules. If they're a traffic copper, they're a little bit more anal, and they will.
Yeah, but don't the traffic coppers also have a little thing they put across the bottom of their number plate to help each other out?
What do you mean?
Little blue pinstripe.
No,
they do.
I've
seen it.
Well, put it this way, right? When I'm in my car, I've got a specific little sticker in my windscreen, right? So
Right.
if ever I were to come up against a fellow job and they stop me, they look at my windscreen, they will probably just wave me on or whatever. But that's because it's a particular sticker that in Bedfordshire we use as markers for when you park.
I love dogging is what it says. Yeah,
I love dogging. Yeah, that's the other one. But
I love dogging in Mexico.
in Mexico-ish.
But there are the traffic police. They adopted a little thin blue line across the bottom of the number plate, and I've seen this on motorcycles, quite a few. And I was following a group of motorcycles, and they all had it, and they were riding like complete arses because they would not let me overtake. So I went round them my way, and a friend of mine who's a police officer said, "Do you realise you've just pissed off 3 coppers?" I said, "I don't give a fuck. They were driving like cunts, and I got them on camera." So if they want to go to court, we'll go to court.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them had this, and I said, "And how did you know they were coppers?" And he told me that line they had on the bottom of the number plate tells other police officers they are police officers. Thin blue line. So get a thin blue pinstripe, put it across your bottom of your number plate.
I've got to be honest.
Right.
I'm being straight with you. I've never noticed that, because if you see one of my YouTube videos, I actually go out with a couple of coppers because they assessed my riding. They were doing the bike safe thing, and they took me out for a day, they didn't have any markers on their bikes.
No. But all three of these guys were up near
What bikes do the police
Hunstanton, so
run
it's
there?
that area they were doing it, and all three of them were on BMW GSs and riding like cunts, to be honest. They all hogged the outside overtaking position and would not overtake.
Were
And
they-
I wanted to.
were they-
And
were
we was riding below the speed limit, so I took
Were they
them my way.
TVP though? Were they TVP?
No, they were Hunstanton way, so
Oh right, Norfolk. Right, okay.
What bikes do the police run over in the UK?
BMW RT 1250s usually.
Okay.
Some are still on the Pan Europeans. I ride for the off-road side of it. I ride a CRF 350,
Oh yeah.
which is a off-road competent off-road bike. Before that, it was the Yamaha DTs. I think they've gotten rid of most of them now because they were shit.
Yeah.
Kept breaking.
Yeah.
What else do they use? There's a few now that have got the GS 1250 Adventures.
Yep.
They seem to favour BMW for some reason. I mean, I don't know why, because they're so.
that's because the royal family told them they got to use their country's bike. So
No. It'll all be to do with their service contracts.
I don't know if I'll go there.
We've still got.
if you look at every retired traffic policeman's motorcycle, he will have a K1600 GT and he will have a 1200 GS.
Yeah. Some of them.
And now you telling me they're not getting a deal because they're ex-traffic?
That's because they do the funny handshakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. Some of the forces are still using the Kawasaki ZZR 1400.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They're nice.
That one I test rode was actually an ex-police ZZR 1400.
There's
Yeah, I
loads,
saw that. I did find the video and watched it.
You did.
Yeah.
there's loads of ex.
It was lovely, weren't it? It moved. Whoa.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
buy it, if you're gonna buy a big bike, it is a good idea to buy an ex-police bike because I tell you, the maintenance.
They've had
servicing.
everything done to them. Yeah.
Maintenance. Well, they don't. They're all standard. They don't. A lot of people think they're customed or tweaked. They're not.
Tuned. They're not.
They're not tuned at all. They're standard bikes. But I tell you what, their maintenance schedule. The oil is changed every 1,000 miles religiously. The cables are all changed out. The plugs are changed out every 2,000, 3,000 miles maximum. So if you're going to buy
my tax,
Huh?
I'm glad my tax money's going to some purposeful.
yeah, but they have to be exemplary, don't they? They're on the road representing the police, so they have to be at a standard which is exemplary.
It's the same as when I bought a family car. I've always looked at them. I said, "Who owned it last?" If they said a company owned it last, I'd buy it because
Yeah.
Same here.
every service it's needed, it's had it done.
Yeah.
Every time it's needed something done, it's had it replaced with the factory parts, not the.
I get that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but a oil change every 1,000 miles.
That's a bit excessive, I think. But yeah.
I don't think that's
No, it is.
excessive. I don't think that's excessive at all when you consider how they're ridden and the extremes. The bikes, from the moment in the morning they're switched on, they're not switched off until the end of the shift. They're left on because they have to be
I
left
suppose
on.
it's time running rather than
It's based on time. It's a bit like an enduro bike. That you don't measure miles on an enduro bike. You measure
Yeah.
running. Yeah.
time. So
The run hours.
it's
Yeah.
the same with
Yeah,
police
no,
bikes because
I'll get it. I get it.
police
Yeah.
bikes have so much kit on them. You know, you've got the radio.
Aye.
You've got all the other ancillary information on there for the.
Are they running the standard alternators?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Jeez.
they've got power management systems on them where they've got
Right.
they've got booster packs because
Right.
it's got to be able to run the radio, the blue lights, the
Yeah.
two tones,
Yeah.
and you've got obviously all
So
the
the
kit.
battery will be beefed up as well. Then the battery will be pretty well beefed up.
I would probably say, and I can't speak for sure, the only non-standard thing would be the new style gel pack batteries that they put in there,
Yeah.
Right.
the high capacity gel packs.
Yeah.
They got the power management packs under the saddle,
Yeah.
the extra ancillary equipment, because the radios actually take up a lot. And then you got the camera systems on there. You got 3 sets of cameras on a police bike.
Yeah.
So it has to run all that. So it's running all the time. So from the start of the shift to the end of the shift, that bike is running. That's why the oil is changed every 1,000 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd go through what, a tank of fuel a day?
Yeah, well, the only time you stop the bike is to fuel it up. And you will fill up 3 times in a day sometimes.
Wow.
3 times in a day. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, fucking hell, there's 90 quid.
Jeez,
I was just going to say that, the price of fuel just now.
Also, what you also got to appreciate is in Bedfordshire, the bikes will cover Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, and Cambridgeshire as well. So you've got 3 counties.
Yeah.
So they will do. They could probably easily do 600 miles in a day.
Yep.
Jesus.
So when we talk about changing the oil, we're not taking it back to a garage and having a full service. You've literally you ride it into the workshop, and the guy there, it's on the ramp, the sump bolt is out, it's being drained, then flushed, then topped up, checked, and then left to run for a bit, ready for the next shift. But it's not unusual for a police bike to do 3, 4, 5, 600 miles in a day, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
I know the blood bike gets serviced a lot. You know, the blood bike service. Yeah, because Sarah was looking into that, and she was telling me. She says that the servicing and the maintenance on those blood bikes is unreal. You know.
Well, yeah, because I mean they run.
Has Sarah done her advanced then?
No, that's what she's going to do. She's going to do her IAM because she wants to be she wants to get into the blood bike. That's what she wants to do.
If you want tips or a chat or anything, let me know.
Yeah, we'll do. She'll appreciate that, Simon. Yeah, because it's something that she's always talked about, and I just told her to do it. I just says, well, I'm working away just now. It says there's no harm, so
I mean, the blood biking thing is all voluntary, and it's the best thing I think you could give your time to because of what it is voluntary wise.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that we've both got a bit of passion for, so
I can put her in touch with my head. What do I call him? He's not a teacher. He's the head of my my advanced riding group. I'll put him in touch with him, and he will quite happily, freely give her all the advice that she needs. He really will.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be brilliant.
And he's a blood biker, and he's probably actually out tonight doing it. So he works. Cool. He volunteers on a Friday and Saturday night, I believe. Right. And yeah, it's very rewarding without all the glamour, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's one of them things. It's very, but yeah.
I think Sarah just wants to give back, basically give back to the service. So that's all.
Yeah, no.
The two of us do.
I think that's very noble, actually. I think that's cool. Very cool.
Hats off to her for that. Yeah, she wants to do it.
Yeah, two of us have got a lot of kind of. We owe a lot back. We owe a lot to the the medical emergency services over the years with our parents and stuff.
You've told us before, yeah.
So it's just little things like that Sarah likes to do. I do as well when I get the opportunity when I'm home, but Sarah could do it more often than I can. So, guys, I'm going to have to call it quits. I've been awake for forever. I think I've been awake for about 26 hours or something. So.
I never noticed you yawning or anything, even though you're trying to hide it. I never noticed it, honest.
I'm in Africa, and I'm obviously, and I'm absolutely shattered. I need to go to bed.
Mate.
Well, you're hiding time as well.
BG, all I can say is thank you for popping on the live stream.
No problem, appreciate guys. It. Good chatting. And night, everybody. And I'll catch you all again at some point. All right.
Take care.
Yeah. Take care, G-man.
See you later, guys. Bye.
See you later, mate.
Which ones?
Which one turns it off? I don't know. There you go.
Not going to be too long myself. I've got to be up early in the morning to walk the dogs.
Yeah, well, it is.
What time you guys got
here?
over there?
Is it fucking
What is it? It's
10 to 1?
it's 10 to 1 in the morning. It's Saturday now.
It
Oh,
is
it's only
Saturday.
20 past 9 a.m. here.
You lucky fucker, you got the whole day to look forward to.
I have, and it's a nice sunny one too. So, and we're going to, when Nathan wakes up, he's going to cruise around and we'll try out these bars.
Oh, please do. Yeah, do a video on that and stick it up, Roland. I'll watch that, mate.
Yeah, you're got to get it on film, mate.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it'll be definitely on Nathan's channel. Like I said, I don't know if you guys are subscribed to Bolt Bucket, but not trying to give him a plug, but you know, he's got some pretty interesting stuff on his channel.
I'll tell you, next time you stick a video up, stick a link to his channel in, and we'll click on it. Yeah.
I'm just doing a search for Bolt Bucket now. Hang on. I'll sub him now. Otherwise, I'll forget later.
Yeah. Today's now the 9th of April for us, and it's a big day for me. It's an emotional day. So
he's got 414 subscribers. That's not bad going.
Well, that's good going.
And his latest video, which he put up last night, he was in a music clip, which is quite a cool music clip, actually. It all done by locals here.
Nice. One of the videos you put up where you was videoing bikes parked up amongst some flashing lights on what looked like a veranda to me. That was pretty cool. Flashing lights and things. Did you put a video up where you had bikes were parked up on like a wooden parapet thing? And
we had a bike night here down in town. Yeah. And we took a few photos where I did the wall art movie, and then we went into town to the bike night, and then after that we rode over to the beach, and we took some shots of the bikes on a like a little landing. On a timber landing. It's a nice location, actually.
Yeah. The bikes look really good under that lighting, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good video as well. Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one. I like that.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks.
But yeah, 9th of April today, so it's a big day for me and my family. So I am going to call it a night on the stream, guys.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries, mate. Have a good one. Take it easy.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
As always, awesome to join in.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming along, Roland. It's lovely to speak to you. And I've just got to see more pictures of that ZZR. That's a beautiful looking bike you got there, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks. No
I'll tell you what, next holiday's got to be the Oz so I can test ride it.
Sorry?
My next holiday, I've got to come over and test ride it.
Oh, look, for sure. Yeah, you'd love it. I mean, it's got some giddy up in it. You know, like I said, 235 horse on the rear wheels. A bit of fun. So, yeah.
235 horses on the rear. Mine's got 156, and that's enough.
Yeah.
I've got a piddling 108.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I've got a piddling 108.
Oh, it's not what you got to tell you use it, isn't it? That's what the ladies keep saying.
Well, apparently so, yeah. It don't matter how big the ports are, the ships are in the dock. It's at the motion of the ocean or something, yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
All right.
And I say, it don't matter. It still feels like throwing a sausage down the passageway. So there you go.
That's not nice.
Actually, can PK put up a link? I want to hook into your channel.
Yeah, hang on a minute.
I don't think I've had the pleasure of connecting to your channel.
What the fuck was that?
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
I think that's the link.
There you go.
It's in the private chat, so.
It's in the private chat. Hang on.
I think I've done the right link.
Let me check this out. Let me just double check. Sorry, Simon, I'm holding you up here.
No, you're right, mate. You're good.
Check I've done the right one.
I am subscribed to you.
Oh
I am subscribed to you already, so that's good.
Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff. Now I put a face to the name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. I will catch you later on. Take care.
Night,
And I know.
As I always say at the end of all my videos, keep it rubber side down, shine the side up, and I'll see you next time.
That's it. I know where the stop button is.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Good night from him. Good night. See you later, Paul.